And we're live and local here in Northern Alabama with your host, Scotty, Carnivore Scott, aka the Common Sense Carnivore, or at least I hope so. As I do a mad dash around the desktop here to make sure everything is in ordnung, all is working. And one of the things I notice is the light in the back is a little bit much. So we'll see if we can log into my light. Got a little technology to log into the light, turn down. There we go. Kick that light down a little bit. I don't know that it helped a lot, but hey, you do what you can, as you can, when you can, right? All right, let's go to, okay, add a little more light to that side here. And hello and welcome back. I just wanted to talk about some things. Hey, it's Limitless Lindy. How you doing there? How are things going in your neck of the woods down under? Let's see. It is Sunday morning there for you, right? You got some meat in a crock pot cooking or something, or you got something smoking out on the grill today? What's that weather like down there, Lindy? How you been doing? I hope all is well by you. Just got off watching Homestead How Carrie. He had daughters on, and they were regaling us and talking and engaging, and it was pretty awesome and great to see those young ladies out there working and plying the interweb, so to speak, and showing people that this way of life is really something that many people can consider. Now, it won't be for everybody, of course, but it's for me, that's for sure. So, it's nice outside, walking today. All right. Are you working today? YouTube background noise. Well, if ever there was background noise, that would be me. I can do background noise, and you know this is to be truthful. Uh, but yeah, just kind of working on things. You know what I did today, Lindy? The missus and I, we went to we went to the bank today. And at the bank today, I decided to get an account so I can do what do you call those things? Cups of coffee. That's right. I've got a way to, when I put up a video, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Now, all that's just for the purpose of uh, funding StreamYard and maybe some editing software. I've got a software I kind of like to do videos in, but for some reason there's a lot of bloat. Northern Stitcher, how are you? Good to see you back again. Yeah, it's a great day. It's been a great Saturday here in Northern Alabama. We had a lot of rain on Friday. Friday morning. We had a river out back, and if I had been prepared, I would show you. We have a ditch, and the ditch overflowed. We had 4 inches of rain, and we have some new construction areas around us for homes. Needless to say, there was a lot of water that ran through the back of the yard, and but we weren't in any stress. With no worries. It was good. Yeah, I'm glad you caught it too there, Stitcher. That's awesome. I appreciate that. I know that there are a lot of places everybody could be tonight. I don't know if Dr. Chafee is gone tonight or not. That guy, he's been putting on a lot of lives lately. Have you all known? Hey, it's Christy. How are you? Good to see you. Everybody say hello to Christy. Meeting Wellness, ladies and gentlemen. California has arrived. No, that's great. Oh, you have snow. Yeah, that's why I moved to Alabama. When we lived up in Nebraska, we had to deal with that cold and the wind, lots of wind. And we were very blessed to be able to move to Alabama. And now we're here. I brought a banjo, didn't have it on my knee. But yeah, it was quite the um, change to be able to walk around in a t-shirt and short pants, or I'm wearing my Crocs today. I like that. I like it a lot. Yeah, everybody's here. That's good. That's good. So, what are some things going on for you on? And by the way, Christy, I am noticing that you are absolutely killing it on your page. You're out there. Well, you put what three videos a week out and one or two lives with lots of interviews. That's awesome. That is really awesome. Now, are any of you making it to Kip's meetup? Anybody? Bueller. Oh no, I see you. I see you out there. I plan right now, as of today, as of 2 weeks ago, as of 3 weeks ago, I'm still planning to make it to Carnivore Kip's meetup down there and at Alabama. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an awesome time. Kips, yeah, well, of course, gosh. But are you going to KetoCon in Austin there, Lindy? I thought I saw you that. Oh, well, yeah, too far, yeah, from Southern Cal. I get it. I get it. Now, I thought my metamorphosis was talking about maybe trying to put something up in that good old town of Nashville. That would have been good. Okay, well, that I'll tell you what. I'll go. I'll represent. I'll represent the late night crowd at Kips and see what we can do there. I have some ideas. I might not go empty-handed. I might go. I might have a plan and something I can do diabolical for him. Yep, you'll be in Austin, Texas. That's a long flight. And Christy, you're going to go to Honky Tonk? There you go. Now, I went to Austin, Texas in 19. Last time I was, well, I've been to Austin a couple times, but the last time I went to Austin on purpose, well, I can't say that either. But I went to Austin in 1982, and then I went to Texas. I went to San Antonio for business meetings. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I drive through Texas all the time. My dad still lives in Texas, West Texas. He's almost closer to Southern California than he is to Austin. Almost, not quite, but it's a big state. Not as big as as Australia. Boy, I almost butchered that one, didn't I? All right, yep. Bought your plane tickets. All right, sweet. Yay, I'm so excited for you all. I bet you all gonna have a lot of fun. And I tell you what, Lindy, you are going to really knock their socks off. And I don't mean that figuratively. I don't know how many of those people in Austin wear socks, but I'm sure carnivores will be there and they'll wear socks, right? No, I think you'll have a lot of fun. Now, Lindy, you going with are you going with your husband there? How are you going, Lindy? Because I know that's a heck of a flight. And are you flying through like Singapore or Korea or Japan? That's a that's a lot of frequent flyer miles on that one. Yeah, I bet you are excited. When is that? When is the keto con or convention there? Do you know when that is? Do either of you know when that is? I don't know. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm on the retirement plan, and I have a lot of things to do here. I have a son who they're with child, and I've got a friend of mine. I'm going to Omaha, Nebraska, not too distant future. So between that and some other things, the nickels. That's matter of fact. That's why one of the reasons I put the buy me a coffee. I put the buy me a coffee in the. I don't know. I'm gonna try it here. I don't know if I can do it here. Boom. Yeah, right here. Yeah, I just put the link in the chat. I wanted to try that. I saw that in Carnivore Kips, and I thought maybe I can do that. I'm at 402 subscribers. My watch hours aren't quite there yet, but I'm going to try to copy our good friend Christy here and try to be just a little more predictable and a little bit more content focused, and maybe work on the thumbnail. I don't know. Try something like that to see if I can capture lightning in a bottle. Yeah. But so what I did, I went ahead and put together this buy me a coffee. So wait a minute, look at that. So your youngest daughter is coming. All right. All right. Well, I hope she's well. Is she unwell then? That's not good. Oh yeah, you'll have a lot of fun. Oh, San Francisco. Okay. Well, that'd be interesting. You're gonna say you've flown into Frisco. Not everybody can say that. But yeah, today and this past week, I made a conscientious decision to put up the buy me a coffee type link in my channel, and I'll be posting it into my videos. And I'm going to see, um, I'm very fortunate to have a number of things, but this StreamYard is $22 a month, and the software I want to use to do some editing. So I just thought I'd give it a shot, see if people were open to that. But yeah, San Francisco. I got stranded in San Francisco once. We had a freezing rain event, and we couldn't quite get out of where we wanted to go. So, but we made it. We made it eventually. It took a little while there, but I haven't been in California for any length of time for decades now. I hear it's changed a little bit. Yeah, StreamYard costs some coinage. That's right. And you know, like I said, I am blessed to be able to be retired. But that doesn't mean that if every hobby I wanted to have, I just kept doing it, and then I'd find myself in a rock and a hard place. So I have a wood hobby, and I thought maybe I like to carve little mushrooms. It's just a little thing I like to do, carve little mushrooms and make little wooden like dishes, stuff like that. So I thought, well, who knows? Maybe one day I'll do a video and like a live stream, or make a video and carve out a bowl. I don't use a lathe. I just use a couple power tools, and I grab wood that was slated to be burned in a pit. No one wanted it. It was not pretty enough wood to do anything with for profit. But I'm going to go ahead, and I like to make little bowls and stuff like that. So you can put on the counter to put change in, or you can put fruit in them, or whatever else. Thought, well, maybe then I could put those up, or make something, you know, um, to provide people. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it has changed. And well, you're right there. I think most of California has changed a lot. Sure has. Oh, okay. Well, again, my carvings, they're kind of sophomoric, so we'll have to do that one day. Maybe I'll just make a little one, but it's just I have heard and learned that in retirement you need to be productive and engaged. So I have been going to do some lapidary work, taking nice ugly stones to try to make them into pretty stones, and I already do a little silversmithing and making like little rings, and plain, nothing ornate, nothing crazy, but I just use that pure silver, or well, 0.999 silver, melt it up and pour it in and make little things and hammer it and melt it. You know, a guy in fire. You know, like to play with fire. And so I made my wife some rings. I made rings for my family, mother-in-law, my father, my mother, my stepmother, and in fact, I made one for my mother-in-law who's passed, and I was bequeathed back the ring I made. See, it's just a little simple hammered silver ring, you know, and I put it on my key ring so I can remember her. So, but yeah, just something to do with my time, to while away my time, and do that. The artwork on the wall, I wish I could do that. That's what I wish I could do. Can't do that. That's my wife. The more sophomoric stuff that's here, that's my work. Kind of abstract work with wax, and it's cool, but it's just something I do to while away the time. I like to do a little whittling, do a little work with stones or something, and talk on YouTube. That's what I like to do. So here I am with you all. So tell me, what are some of your non-scale victories, folks? What's been going on in your life? What have you been achieving, and what have you been like ready to tell and share with others about um, what's worked well for you over the past, let's say, 30 days? So, because I've just got back to being serious about carnivore in the last 30 days. I was ketovore-ish starting in mid-January. And from mid-January to mid-February, I maintained that. Then in mid-February, I went serious with the uh, carnivore. And then now we're about a month into that, and trying to heal. And one of my biggest challenges is I have an unhealthy liver. And so I have my work cut out for me there. One of the biggest things I think I need to do is get my doctor to focus on me to get me a little bit of testing done. My liver enzymes don't seem so bad. My ALT and my AST are fine. Let's see what else. My glucose is normally roughly around 100. It goes down below 100. If I eat postprandial, it goes up a little bit. My insulin has been around 6.5. So I don't really have these massive numbers that would say that my liver is super unhealthy, with the exception of it's a fatty liver, and I have a larger than normal portal vein. But I'm a big guy, so I don't know. We're waiting. All right, non-scale victory here. Talk to us. Had blood test on Friday. I was able to slip right into see. Ah, all right. That's awesome. That's those one of those non-scale victories that the people who don't struggle with these things can never appreciate. That's an awesome job. That's really awesome, Lindy. The wife and I went. We were gifted some tickets to go to a hockey game. We went to a hockey game. I got in the seats, and they were like right along a walkway, and they the bar was right there by the seats in front of them. I don't make them really wide. I could not physically sit down in a seat, but I know that I've not normally been able to sit down in a seat. But what I can do is move forward, get my hips lower than the armrest, and then I can slide in like fitting it like going into a truck, a package truck. Well, anyway, it was unbearable. So got up and we asked the concierge for some different seats, and they put me in the handicap area with my wife, and that was very nice. Hello, Arlene. Good to see you. Good. Thank you so much, Arlene, for your consistent comments on my videos. I appreciate it that you're in there. Sometimes you throw that stuff out there and you just hope it hits the bottom of the well. Have you ever felt like that? Sometimes you make something, you throw it out there, and it just go. I mean, it doesn't even bounce off the wall. You don't even hear anything. So thank you so much, Arlene. That just so much means a lot. Everybody's saying hi here. I like this. This is really good. Yeah, exciting for you. Yeah, I know it is. It's those little things. And like when Todd was talking one time, Lindy, early on, and Todd was like saying, I could go driving. And I just had forgot. I hadn't contemplated that. I think that's where a lot of people are. I think a lot of people just don't, aren't aware. I guess the awareness is down. Is that a fair statement to say the awareness level is down? I'm going to turn this one light down a little bit. Oh, there you go. A little painful on my eyes there. Wow. Oh, tuna patties. There you go. Wife made those the other day. Today I had a big bowl of leftovers. I eat leftovers today. What do you all do? How's the leftover situation in your house? Yeah. Oh, by the way, Arlene, do share. Do share. I think my wife does it. She opens the tuna up, drains it, cracks an egg in there too, and fries them up. Sometimes she'll add little breadcrumbs. Just a little breadcrumb. I don't fight her about that. Mm-mm. But I do have a question about leftovers. Okay, here we go. Here it is. One tuna, one egg. Yep, cheese. Oh, there it is. Pork panko. Ladies and gentlemen, carnivore heaven right there. A little pork panko there. That'd be awesome. Geez, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. Now, that the little can of tuna, normal can of tuna, or that the bigger, thicker can? I don't know. Oh, Chuck Rose, I didn't get it. Huh. That little carnivore scavengers there, huh? Well, I guess we can't can't bother them. Oh, let me do this just to make sure that I'm not being overly crude here or rude. I don't mean crude, rude. Oh, let me see if I can do this. If anybody said, "Hey, I'm itching to get on the show tonight," there's the link. If you want to get in and you're ready to go, by all means, feel free to grab the link. I know the other night we had a couple people jump in, but they were getting ready for bed and they were not ready for that. Yeah, that does sound good. That's a great recipe for it. I'm gonna stick that in my brain pan and provide that one to the missus. Oh, keto was 6 weeks ago. Okay, good. Good. Does Ketovore involve a lot of eggs in your family there, Chrissy? Oh, Corny Luna, a little can. Ah, there you go. There you go. Hey, all y'all been cooking long enough. Everything's just basically a suggestion, right? Everything's kind of like hey, this is basically the idea. I started with some tuna and some egg, and I had a little this, a little bit of that, and next thing you know, you have this wonderful thing you just can't really recreate. Yeah, yeah. All right. So, yeah, I was just wondering about that as far as the eggs. So, yeah, well, how does ketovore, how he eats eggs and sausage for breakfast? Well, all right, there you go. I've been eating a lot of eggs, and I don't know if you saw one of my shorts, but I've been taking the eggs and separating them, right? And I'd like to take about 4 to 6 extra large eggs or large eggs, farm raised if I can find them, if I have them in the house. But I separate out the yolks and put the whites away, and then I'll take the yolk and I'll whisp it, the little coffee frothing hand wispy things. I'll go ahead and I will I'll wisp up the egg. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I separate the eggs, to get that little white part that's in the egg that's clinging to the yolk, you know what I'm talking about? That piece. It wants to stay with the yolk, but I don't want it in the yolk. That little wisp thing, it gets tangled up in the bottom. So if you ever want to take that out of your egg yolk mixture, just use that little wisp. So anyway, I smash open and open up the yolk, and I wisp it up really good, and I pour cooled off, melted butter into the egg yolk. And I might add a splash of heavy cream, a dash of salt, and that's my gravy on my meat, or if I want to, I just drink it. I don't mind drinking it. It just tastes so good. Well, I've even scrambled up a bunch of eggs, let the eggs cool down, like the egg whites. I'll scramble those up in a bunch of butter or tallow or bacon fat. Scramble those up or cook them up like an omelet. I don't really care. Get the whites cooked, right? And then what I'll do is I'll take after it's cooled down to where it's not just warm, not hot, I'll pour the egg yolk back on top of the um, cooked egg white, and oh my gosh, that's really good stuff. Okay, what do we have here? Because my husband wanted to wanted tuna noodle. Okay, tuna noodle casserole, and I needed from kitchen when I had the carnivore one, but I didn't want to make carnivore, so I had a. Oh, there you go. Hey, you've been bumping and moving around the kitchen long enough to adopt and adapt anything you want. Ketovore, he does a little marinara, not marijuana. He does a little marinara. Okay, okay, it is what it is. Get the wins you can. Now, hey, I want to ask this august group: how many of you are doing iodine? Anybody here doing Lugol's iodine? Hmm. I haven't tried the carnivore pizza yet. I'd lose my mind. Oh, he's a lucky young man. He's a lucky young man to have that happening. Yeah, not look that gift in the mouth, That's for sure. Uh yeah, everybody's here. That's good. Yeah. Lindy is here. Background noise. She has to work today, so she's busy doing busy stuff and earning the do re mi so she can get into Austin. But I do wonder how many of you, and I'll type in here. Hope I spelled that right. I might not have. But how many of you have supplemented with any iodine? Because I started that I bought it a while back and I did a little bit, then I stopped. Then I've been reading a lot of stuff. Have you seen how topics in the carnivore community are pulsatile? There you go. They're biphasal. Yeah, I've been watching Dr. Dom D'Agostino, and him and Delauer had a video. A lot of good information. I love Dom. He's so he is he is to keto what Dr. Ben Bickman is to fat lipid and all things fat. They're giants in their field, in my opinion. All right, so because I need to take 3 drops of 2%. Yep, I saw the same thing. Oh, love to meet someone. Love to meet someone new. Thought hint. Well, okay, hint, hint. Would love to hear. Okay, so I'm gonna go down the iodine path, so to speak. I'm taking the iodine. I'm at 5 drops a day, and here's the thing. In listening to Dr. Bright and Dr. Brownstein, I'm not sure. I think it's a good thing. Okay, Arlene, when I do logo, oh, ah, Arlene, that's wise of you to realize that. Very, very, very wise. Yeah. So the conversation in multiple videos that I've gotten is the thyroid gland depends on it, and we don't have it in our diet. And there are other chemicals like bromine and fluoride that can get into a transport mechanism when the iodine's not there. Um, I think that it might not be the panacea that many people are thinking. I suspect that's not the case. However, it could be a very important and critical link in the total message of getting healthier, if that makes any sense at all. I was thinking about it and sharing with my wife, probably too much, but sharing with her, you all should really lift a prayer up for my wife. She has to live with this all day. Yeah. hmm I don't even go off to a job anymore, so it's all day. I say she'll go, "That's all mine." hmm She's pointing to me. But here's what I'm thinking. Um, we have hundreds of millions of cells in our body. We have billions of bacteria in our body. I suspect we have trillions of communications going on in our body all day, every day. There's a lot going on. And everything is, English as a second language. I didn't come prepared. Do you all remember when we were younger? Well, when I was younger, we had games where we take strings and we make a big loop. Then you wrap them between your fingers and you do all sorts of things. You make a cat's cradle and you can make designs and you move it and twist it and you go, and you'd have contests with making things, right? With the string loop in between your fingers, right? I think that if we use that visualization and we sit there and say, I'm tugging on this string here and twisting it, it's it's creating primary, secondary, and tertiary, and probably quaternary, first, second, third, fourth order effects on all the rest of the strings, let alone the cascade of events, right? If you have one, two, three, four, if you have 8 different slots, you have 64 combinations at least, right? It gets real complex real quick. So We just have to tweak and tweak and kind of watch, but taking out the carbs is pretty simple because that's out one out of three, right? So anyway, I think that the iodine can be very, very helpful. I think you have to be closely monitored by yourself and figure out what you realize if you're in tune with what you're doing. But if you don't eat seafood, you don't live by the sea, I don't know how you get iodine. I don't know. So I'm gonna get back there. Uh-huh. I saw. Yeah, yeah. I saw, but that minimum versus maximum, right? So what? Oh, well, there you go. It is. I guess it is. Well, I don't know. I'll have to take your word for it. I can't sit there and say, yeah, it is, right? Cat's cradle. Yep. There you go. Thank you, Chrissy. I knew it was. I thought it was like that. Have You're killing me, Stitcher. You're killing me. I remember you gave me your name once, and I botched it and didn't remember. I apologize. But yeah, twice a husband. Yeah, nothing. I remember when I was young, and I was in the Air Force, but I was stationed with the Army for a number of years. And the sergeant major, he'd always say, "Nothing worse than a bored soldier." Well, I think there's nothing worse than a bored husband. There you go. Thank you, Jan. Appreciate that. But yeah, twice the husband. And in my case, that's quite the truth. There's a lot of husband here. Well, I will have to say, I gained about 66 pounds since I get married. Now I'm down to about 290-ish. So that's 16 and 10. So that's 26 pounds less than my heaviest, but that's still 35 pounds heavier than when I got married, probably. And it's all right in the middle of my belly. Well, that could be some of my legs, a little bit of my head, but what are you going to do? I got a fat head. But but retirement is quite the experience. I'll just leave that like that. That'd be appropriate not to get too caught up in that. But it's quite the experience to be retired. But I appreciate it, and it's grown on me. It's taken a while, when you're used to doing stuff all day, and or if you get so lucky and you can be like Lindy and get the privilege of working on a what might be a lovely Saturday, right? I don't have that privilege. That's all gone. All right. Hi, Karen. It's been a minute. Been a minute. Good to see you. How you been doing? How's your journey been? I haven't got a chance to tell everybody, but obviously, I as I was telling someone today in a comment I made on a video, I didn't kind of drift away. I didn't fall away. I bolted from the carnivore world, and I'm back, and yeah, I need to make it work. The biggest reason I need to make it work is. At this juncture, I am operating under a quote unquote assumption of a diagnosis of portal vein hypertension. Basically saying, I'm got a problem in my liver, but we're going to see. Maybe I just have a big portal vein. I'm a big bone guy. I'm almost 6.5 feet tall. So maybe my portal vein isn't the same size as a guy 5'10". I don't know, but we're gonna have to figure it out. All right. So Karen says that is amazing. That is awesome, Karen. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. You were gonna go on a cruise. Did you get on that cruise? Weren't you gonna go with the Browns, hanging with the Browns? Oh, you've been retired for 6 years, Jan? Phil cross stitch, diamond painting, and three beautiful great Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we have 7. Number 8 is on the way, but none of them live nearby, so that's problematic. Trust me. Let's see, Karen. I didn't have a good place to do videos inside. It was too. Oh, man, I get it. I get it. If you've noticed, I've changed the background here. This isn't a screen. You can see me do puppet things in the back. The whole quote unquote studio was looking that way, and then we used to look out the over my shoulder toward the door. But now I've turned it to where all the backs of my computers are in front of the window, and then there's my deacon's bench, and there's my napping chair. And yeah, that's what I like to do. So we change it around. Ah, yeah, yeah, okay. Hanging with the Browns is in August. Okay, that's right. Cool. Very cool. Yep. Oh yeah, that's right. Congratulations about that. Just it hit me. Ah, an older than I woman at Red Lobster that I was talking to about Carnivore was saying that she and her husband have been retired for 15 years. So it made me get a better perspective of marriage. Yeah. You know, yeah, you rearrange too. There you go. Got to do it every once in a while, right? Yeah, well, you don't have to, but it does break the monotony of things. I think for us, the big win, or at least for me, the big win was that I was able to finish up enough of the project out back on with the pavilion to burn fires on a regular basis, and I really liked it. It was really good, and maybe I can do a video from there one time, like a fireside chat. Maybe next winter I'll do fireside chats. All right, I just came home from the Red Lobster. There you go. We have a Red Lobster here in Huntsville, and I have to be honest with you. I've never been impressed with the wait staff, and we found another one up the road in Tullahoma, Tennessee, about 45. Let's call it an hour max. And I'd rather drive an hour each way to go to that Red Lobster than here. But I'm not doing Red Lobster right now. We'll do that another day. Another day. But I do like Red Lobster. The neuropathy. Oh, that's awesome. Because that's like a constant thing, that neuropathy. It from my understanding, I have a little bit of it going on in each of the outside of my thighs, but it's just aggravating. It's unnerving. It isn't necessarily debilitating, but your feet, that's got to be tough. I'm glad it's better. Uh, we will pray you're going pretty good. I'm going. I guess I'm going pretty good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going pretty good, but I've got to stay on this, and I need to really knuckle under. I'll have to be honest now. I used to have a pretty significant problem with drinking. Now that problem didn't spill over into my day-to-day life, but it was too much. And I cut way back. And not a problem. I cut way back, but I didn't cut it out. It's gone now. Done. You for me, I can't sit there and say I have a problem with my liver and then do something that damages it. And that's it. That's the final thing. I said it. I've addressed it. It's done. And I'm very thankful for that. So we're going to continue to monitor. I have some lab work to do next Tuesday. And then the beginning of April, I get to go see my doctor. We'll talk about it. I've never not feeling in my knees and toes. So that's very encouraging. Good. Good. Yeah, I'm telling you, the inflammation thing is really an important aspect of this whole carnivore thing, which goes back to when we're talking about iodine. So if the gland of your thyroid, the first gland to develop even before your brain, is lacking, there can be so many, as they like to say, cascading challenges that I don't think that you can rule out your iodine, right? And then listening to all the deep dives into the iodine conversation, you can't take a blood test for your iodine. See, I had this question in my head, and it was answered for me. You ingest iodine, and iodine gets recycled many, many times. I don't know how many times it gets recycled, but it gets recycled many, many times, and it gets recaptured by the body in the loop. The question that came to me was that too much or too little iodine, has so many effects, from losing your hair and getting widow's peaks, and lots of other things. So uh, I'm just really interested in the whole iodine aspect. But one of the thing is your whole neurological system is impacted by it, or your whole hormonal system is impacted by the iodine. So, red blood health, all those things, red blood cell health, all that gets impacted by the iodine. So, but the only way to measure your iodine accurately is with a 24-hour. They do a iodine challenge 24-hour urinalysis urinalysis collection, or urinary collection. So they give you a shot of the mercury, actually not the mercury, iodine. They give you the shot of the iodine, and then you have to collect your urine for 24 hours. Then they measure your urine, and if there's a lot of the iodine in the urine, they'll know that your body didn't hold on to it. And if you um, lose a lot, so in other words, there's not much in your urine, then they know you're deficient and that you need to get sufficient. And now that tells you that there's a mechanism in your body to have get a lot. Because if you think about the people like in Japan, or who live along the ocean, right? They're getting, if they're eating a lot of seafood, and particularly eating seaweed, they're getting a lot of iodine in their diet, so they can pass it. The body has a way of passing it. I need what I need. The rest of it can go, flush and go, right? Also, it's pretty much a misnomer, farmer or wives' tale, whatever you want to call it, about putting iodine on your skin and see how quickly it absorbs. What happens is it evaporates more. It's not your, it's nowhere near the gold standard. Uh, Your body will do a lot of things to make the iodine in your blood right, but at the sacrifice of what tissue? And you can get some in eggs, but like, okay, let's take this one. This is what I want to really do. If I win the big lottery, like if I were to get the big lottery, like, $1.2 billion, I'd want to set up a food lab where they can do a lot of these studies, set up a food lab. And I'd like to, most of the food we eat, when we go and we look at the nutritional value of it, all of it's a guess. One milk is one milk, one cheese is one cheese, one beef is one beef, right? But the process, as I understand it, of checking it for the nutritive qualities is you have to grab a bunch of samples, and you take a sample and you burn it, and you measure the ash and the off gases, and then you can really get the caloric value. You can get all the different uh, sub sub strata, the things that make it up, right? And you can find the calcium and all the different things that make it up, right? But you have to burn a lot of it. It's very, very, very time consuming and expensive. So most of the foods that you get haven't been. So if you get milk from your dairy in California, Southern California, versus somebody in Wisconsin, versus somebody in Texas, versus someone in Florida, versus someone in New York, and it's 2% milk. I don't know why you drink anybody. It isn't all going to be the same. The nutritive value is not going to be the same. Your carrots from all those places are not going to be the same. Hello and welcome to the house of Scotty P. Carnivore Scott. So we are basing a lot of assumption when you look at packages that has that quote unquote nutrition guide on there. It's not. It's just all guesswork. It's not really have been measured accurately. catch up with some comments here. And by the way, thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Yeah, hang in there. That's right. There you go. There you go. That's right. It's a lifetime. It's not a fad. It's not a passing fancy. Good. There you go. Yeah, I'm not going. I've had the antidepressants before. I don't like them. They make me want to throw up. Karen, I saw a guy in Drive on Dave Mack's channel. I mean, he got superhero Carnivore. All right. Yeah, I've done the fasting, and the fasting feels good. It works good, but I don't know that it did me good so far. I think I've put some other liver things to look out. You're off all meds. Congratulations. Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely not a huge, big pharma fan. I'm a fan of pharma, but not all of pharma. Well, they do, and I'm really feeling it for the people who got sucked into Ozempic. I just be honest with you. Hello, Lisa. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. How are you doing? How are you? I've been watching you. I know the struggles. I know the struggle is real. That struggle bus is a real place. You know, I was watching, I cannot remember all the people's videos I've been watching, but I was watching this one young lady. She has quite the following, and she was really talking about how you can't. And she had been a physical therapist for a while. Everything you hear doesn't always apply to each one of us. We are our own experimental lab, and you have to work and you have to listen. And if eating dairy is not working for you, then don't eat dairy. If eating cheese isn't working for you, don't eat cheese. If it is, that you can do it to limits. And lots of evaluation. We're all evaluating everything all the time. Yep. You're on 3 high blood pressure meds. Did you see the recent video, Arlene, that Dr. Barry did with Dr. Bickman? That might be a good one for you to watch. They talked a lot about, and they were talking about salt, and it was just one in the last 2 weeks. All right, Bickman and Barry, and Dr. Bickman showed studies with actual data, not epidemiological word searches, but real studies about how lowering salt ends up upping your blood pressure. So you might want to go look at that one and listen in on that one, and maybe that has some information for you. Yeah, and amen. I hear you. I hear you, Lisa. You can't fast. I eat eggs as a side with meat. Yeah, you go. I love my eggs. And earlier I was talking about how I make an egg cream. I make an egg cream sauce out of just the egg yolks. I am absolutely in love with that. I eat 3 eggs, sausage, and then some kind of meat later. There you go. There you go. And I know a lot of people, and I was just on watching Homestead How Carrie and his daughters were on, and they were talking about, oh, I eat 2 pounds of meat. Okay. I'm I'm a big fella, and I am not able to eat much more than 3/4 of a pound without feeling poor. I just can't do it. I just It's a lot. Now, a lot of times for breakfast, I'll have a 1/4 pound of meat and 6 eggs, and that fills me up, pretty good for a few hours. Do, do, do. Again, yep, there you go. So I've heard that in the carnivore community, there's a lot of people who are super sensitive. I know Dr. Bright has talked about that a lot, and I've seen Dr. Bright in a lot of videos making the rounds, and seeing people and talking to people, and the whole idea. I believe says she's in Italy. She talked about being in Italy and going up to Scotland and eating a lot of lamb. So yeah, no, I think everybody intuitively listening. Yep, yeah. Just there you go. I can't avoid that 16 really salt my blood work. Oh yeah, by all means, Arlene, I think you will walk away, or you'll, yeah, walk away from that video going, really? Seriously? We've been bamboozled like this? I think what Dr. Bickman does a lot with his hands, he says, outcomes are going like this, and this, oh no, outcomes are poor outcomes and deaths are rising. At the same time that's happening, the I did that wrong, are rising. At the same time, they're telling people to do less salt, right? So it's like less salt, less sodium, and he gives all the medical or the chemistry because he's not a doctor, and neither am I. By the way, that's a great time for me to do the community announcement, the public service announcement. I'm not a doctor. None of this is to be taken as medical advice. Please seek your medical professional before undertaking any major life changes with regards to food or chemicals. There, I've kind of done it. We're done. Yeah, yeah, it's a big deal. It is a big deal. Yeah, oh, limited. You can barely get. There you go. Yeah, a pound, but you can eat 3 times a day. But no, I can't eat 3 pounds of meat. Now, this is a good one right here. Redmond salt. You know what? I went to Walmart, my local Walmart, drove up to my Walmart looking for this stuff. They only have it online. I don't want to go online. I don't want to do it. I'm spoiled. I just want to drive up to my Walmart and go in and get my Redmonds. I thought the wife was talking to me when she said, hey, dogs must be acting up out back. Arlene, I eat more than my hubby and need to lose weight. I'm not. Oh, I like my soup well done, so it may not get enough. That could be it, Arlene. That could be it. And any chance you can supplement your fat? Is there any way that you can like pour off the? Do you pour off any of your fat that you cook when you cook your burger or when you cook your pot roasts and any you cook? Arlene, are you pouring off the fat or keeping it with you? What the reason I say that, one of the things I've done is, let's say I pan fry up some burgers. Well, one of the things I'll do, there'll be floating in grease. Or like I made a meatloaf the other day. Well, I poured the meatloaf drippings into a separate cup. And then what I did is I used that tallow. Sometimes I just walk by the fridge and break off a quarter, quarter size, about a quarter-inch thick chunk of tallow and just chew it up. Or I'll put it with my other food, so I make sure I'm getting plenty of fat. And I try to do it like if I separate my eggs to make my egg cream with the egg yolks. Hey, big man, I see you there. Big John, how are you? I'm good. And I'll make my egg yolk cream, and then I'll put that over my egg whites. But sometimes I don't want to get that spike from all that protein, so I'll actually just take a chunk of tallow and chew it up too. So I mean, that might be a way to get more fat. And of course, your body will tell you when you're overdoing the fat. Yeah, I'm still alive. Yes, I am. I'm still alive, and I'm still alive. And I'm glad you caught me too. I appreciate that, brother. Karen, that's the other thing. I douse everything in bacon grease. Eggs swim in it like a pool. Now, Karen, do you ever eat your eggs scrambled? Because I have found that when I fry my eggs in the oil, I get I get a good amount of oil on the eggs. But when I scramble my eggs in the oil, the eggs absorb the oil. There's no oil left in the pan, and it's not evaporating. So it's been incorporated into my eggs. Lots of way. Now, Arlene, that could be a way for you too. That could really be a way. Everybody, by the way, everybody, Big Man Alaska, Big John is in the house. Big John. There you go, button. Yeah, sometimes they go, well, I just know that when I scramble them up, you like them over medium. See, I like to get the egg whites cooked, but I've been drinking and dipping my food in egg yolk cream sauce I make from separating the eggs, incorporating some melted butter and a little salt. Love it. and I can shoot down about 6 egg yolks if I want to just drink it. All right, I'm at Walmart. I get the Himalayan. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I say if you take the poured off fat and put it in a like a custard cup and put it in the refrigerator, and then you'll make a little disc of tallow, right? And then you can take that off the whatever's the bottom. So, like, let's say, like when I did the meatloaf or I do bacon or anything like that, the bacon grease will be kind of soft still. But if you get the beef fat, right, the drippings underneath it, you'll have the gel, which is basically a lot of collagen, right? The collagen and the flavor of the meat, and you can use that for a gravy. Just put a spoon of that, but you got to eat it pretty quick because it will go bad. But that you take the wafer of of solidified tallow, and you can break pieces off and put that in the stuff you're cooking on, or just eat it. And when I eat it, I get that nice flavor of the beef, like if it was a. It's almost like eating um, the fat with a flavor of a pot roast or something. It's just so good. It's very good. But yeah, keep that fat and nibble on that. Kerrygold butter. Yeah. Now I watched Dr. Bright. She was the one who said, "Hey, eat a pound of butter. Everybody eat a stick of butter. Eat a stick of butter a day." And what she really said was, "Eat the equivalent of a stick of butter a day, not actually just be nomming on it." And I think healthy people might be able to do that. But for me, I'm trying to teach my body to be fat adapted. And once it's fat adapted, i.e., it wants to burn fat, it realizes I'm not getting any more carbohydrates. And they go, where. Well, then the acetyl CoA goes up, and then the beta hydroxide, whatever that comes in, and um, ketones start flooding the body, and the body gets used to going, okay, I'm going to go over here. I think I watched this thing that had DeLauer and D'Agostino yesterday. And I said, in the old days, how the guys and people working in the train yards, when they wanted to move a train from one track to the other, they had to pull a lever and had to really pull it, and you divert the train. Or if you're going to rob the train, you divert the train and you rob it, right? Well, they're saying when we go from being fat adapted to versus glucose adapted, and so more ketone versus glucose for primary energy for the brain and the heart and so many other things, that switching mechanism, it takes a while. And once you get it into ketosis and fat adaptation, it's not easy to flip back over to glucose. Now, your body can do it, and there are consequences of doing it. Not long term, just short term. It's not really insulin resistance, but it's actually glucose. It's a glucose intolerance, which will be indicated by this spike of insulin and glucose. So people say, "Oh, if you get off of carnivore or keto, yeah, and you start doing carbs, you'll end up insulin resistant." Nah, it's not true. You got to watch that Ben Bickman one and watch the other one, DeLauer and D'Agostino. But you get more metabolic flexibility when you have to do certain things. So, Christy, let's say you wanted to add some muscle mass in because you're exercising all the time and you're doing a lot of things. And we know if we have more muscle, we will be able to burn more energy per unit time just by the larger muscle mass. So, what they do, and they're in great shape, but they'll eat 20 grams of carbohydrates post workout and then do some more, and it gets absorbed. The glucose gets into the sugar gets in the body. It causes an insulin thing, and insulin is going to be what you need to be anabolic, because if you don't have insulin and you're not anabolic, you could be catabolic, and that's what we want. We want to get rid of things. But yeah, those are great videos that would help us to learn more about what we're doing. All right, let's catch up here. uh, the egg yolk mixes with the meat juice. Oh, yes, it does. It does make a good gravy. Same Italian, eat it cold. That's right. That's right. Cold fat will make your gut work slower. Nibble slowly. Don't do it on an empty tummy. That's what I think. I think you probably just nibble it a little bit along the way, and it might help. Yeah, it is like a hollandaise sauce, I guess. I'm not positive on hollandaise sauce. It's excellent. Let me tell you, it's really, really good. I really liked it. Yes, I do. But then I'm stuck with egg whites. I gotta cook the egg whites, and I do. It's okay. So I'm become big fan of the frozen brown butter bites. All right, I have not done the butter bites, and I have not done Element, but I was in Costco today, and the Costco, food vendors, all the little people at the end, trying hawking their wares, they had some type of electrolyte mix by the cases there at the Costco. I didn't buy any. I'm I'm cheap. If I feel I need to get some potassium, I'll get a potassium pill, or I'll get fake salt, which is potassium chloride, right? If I need salt, I'll get salt. If I need to get I take magnesium every night before going to bed. 20 minutes before I go to bed every night, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking a magnesium. It helps my legs not be restless and it helps me get to sleep. I like it. That's how I do it. All right. Doodly 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 doo. Let's go take a look. I was trying to remember the last time I was 197. 1990. There you go. Well, guess what? Today you're this many years old, right? You're I would say I was this many years old today when I learned something. Um, we can't live in the past, can't project to the future right now. You're the winner. You win a winner, not a chicken dinner, maybe a fried liver dinner. No, a steak dinner. There you go. Brown butter bites. Yeah, I haven't done. I just eat the butter. I don't need a reason. Todd brown butter with cream. Oh, I bet you, Arlene, that brown butter. That's the real deal right there. Okay. It probably has stuff you don't want to. All right. Well, all I know is I can just eat butter. I have no problem. The wife will look at me sometimes and she'll go, because I'm sitting there with the knife, chunk, gobble, chunk, gobble. I'm not careful, half a stick of butter go that fast. I do like it. Matter of fact, she'll be the first to tell you when I do something, I go in whole hog and I go all the way. And so that's a pretty much a done deal here. Let's see. Go doodly doodly doo, ba-ba-doo. And I'll give them a try. Easy way to okay. Well, I guess now you gave us a recipe for the tuna cakes. Is there a chance you could put some digis in there or is it really complicated to make a butter bite? See, that's another thing. I like to simplify things. I'm a simple man, and I'm not talking about the song. I'm just a simple man, and that helps. Now, one thing I can tell is I am losing a little bit of weight because see right here, that little indent right there. Well, I had some surgery, courtesy of the VA, and they took the muscles out of my neck here. So if I lose a little more weight, you can see the pulse of my arteries in here. Nerve. On the other side, you don't really see it because well, I still have all the fat. That's where it's at. Over here, it's all kind of missing. I got a nasty scar all the way down to here. Yeah. But had to have my scalene muscles removed for some thoracic outlet symptoms. But it seemed to work. Can't play basketball anymore. But I'm 61 now. I'm not playing basketball anymore. Okay. Element, when I first started, felt, oh, yeah. Well, you know what I have found out? And I don't know if any of you have a similar experience, but for me, last time I was doing last summer when I was really hard into the carnivore, right? Late summer, I was having cramps all the time, and my iron was really low, all sorts of issues. Well, this time I'm eating like 2 times as much fat than I did last time, and I've not had cramps. And I also do keto, the keto drops, the mineral drops, and I do the magnesium, like I said. But I think the higher fat content is helping me not have quite so many cramps. I really do. Okay. It's so easy. It's so easy. It's so easy. Okay. Only butter and element. Takes 10 minutes to prepare. So are the butter bites going into I have a little candy, a little what do you call those? Flexible, like they have pot holders, a silicone mold that make little button chocolates and stuff like that. I tried to make a butter that was increased with I melted butter, coconut oil, and pure stearic acid. You know, you've heard me talk about stearic acid. And I put the stearic acid in that and I made these little things, but I added too much salt and they just but I guess I could make the butter bites in the little silicone molds. That's the word, silicone. Uh oh, there you are, brother. Sorry about that. Toot, toot.
Hey, how you doing, Scotty?
Well, obviously I'm dazed and confused.
Okay, you can hear me this time? I think I got the settings right.
I hear you.
Okay, perfect. Right on. Yeah, I just got done editing and uploading a video for the week. I had some big things happen this week with my health. Basically, my sleep study results came back. I'm able to get off CPAP if I want to, because my level's so low. It's down like my apneas are like 7.5 or right in that range. They're really mild now. But I think with continued carnivore type eating and more priming and more fasting, I think I'm going to be able to get over that hump and potentially come completely off at some point, as long as I don't have any central apneas. Now, another big announcement I also have this week is that I'm now down in the 200 club. So I
Amen,
finally got
brother.
back down under 300 pounds with a 5-day water fast. Now tomorrow is going to be my last day of the water fast, by the way. But I mean, that's amazing. I wasn't really happy because that was over a 15-pound weight loss in 4 days of fasting. And I mean, this stuff's powerful. It works. And priming really helped set the stage for this fast. And I wanted to share that with everybody that's thinking about doing an extended type fast, for instance. And there's several other ways to do a 5-day type fast where you can actually eat food. I explained that in today's video as well. But I just wanted to hop on here and say hi to Lisa and everybody else that I know here in the room. I appreciate every single one of you because everybody's been helpful. This has been the best community I have ever been involved in my entire life, and I plan on sticking around for quite a while.
Well, hello, Don't Do Me. How are you? Welcome in. Are you coming in from Big Man, Alaska? There you go. So, well, that's really good, there, John. I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying success and that the desire is in you in such a way that I mean to do a 5-day water fast and to be positive and constructive really to me seems to speak of a deep sense of commitment, right? And that commitment, it's like they'll tell you when you're in a depressive episode, right? Don't do the things that keep making you go into depressive and those loops, right? But now you're in a success loop. That's what I'm trying to say. You're in a success loop that allows you and empowers you to do things way beyond what you might have considered 6 months ago.
Absolutely. The benefit I had going into this particular 5-day water fast is that's how I got my entire weight loss journey started, was with a 5-day water fast. I mean, 435 pounds, did a 5-day water fast, lost 30 pounds, the first 5 days. That was just miraculous in itself. So I was down to 405 pounds in 5 days, 5 working days. And that was super helpful for getting me motivated, getting me up, making me want to continue. And just like these successes I've had, all these off-scale victories that I've had with Carnivore, all throughout the struggles I've had to get to this point where I could actually honestly say, like, hey, I've been 100% for a little while now. Not months, not years, but yeah, I've been 100%, and that's really what helped make the 5-day water fast this week work out so well, was because I did the priming. I did what people said, ate 2 to 3 meals, fully satiated, if not a little bit overstuffed, slightly maybe Thanksgiving stuffed. But before I went into the fast and started the fast, I was so full. I mean, I felt like I was Thanksgiving full, like I was ready to just crash and take a nap. But I was just satiated. I had all this nutrition in me, and as soon as I started the first day, it was a piece of cake. It wasn't like the first 5-day water fast I did, where I was like, I need food, I need carbs, I need something in my body. I mean, I was frantic. This time I was actually kind of bored. I was looking for stuff to do. So I made like pickled eggs, for instance. I made a lot of pickled eggs this week, and I'm going to leave them in the fridge probably until later on in the week, or if I might break them out for another live stream when this fast is over. But we'll see. This week coming up, I'm planning a maintenance type week to hopefully maintain my weight underneath 300 pounds. And I'm just hoping that I'll just stay there and I don't have to do the up and down baloney, because even my close friends were starting to get a little bit annoyed with what was going on. They're like, dude, you tried to quit smoking, you jumped off the rails, you're getting back on the rails, and then all of a sudden you're doing this and that, your weight's going up and down. And I'm like, well, it's kind of part of a weight loss journey, is you have a lot of ups and downs. But if it wasn't for this community, I wouldn't have come back. I mean, I would have kept going the other way.
I agree.
And that's one thing I am super thankful about is everybody that does the entire group hug at times and just bails out people when they need the help the most. And like you, Scotty, you're always there. You invite me on your channel whenever I can pop in or whenever I have time. I appreciate you, man.
Hey, you betcha. So now, don't do me said. How much water do you drink a day when you're doing your water fast?
I drink approximately a gallon of water a day, sometimes more. To figure out your water intake.
Talk about your electrolytes also in drinking that water.
Okay, yeah. To start out my day, I do drink a tall glass of electrolytes. I make it at home. I use salt, real salt. I also add a splash of apple cider vinegar and a splash of lemon juice into a tall glass. I fill it with water and just give it a good stir. And that's what I use to take any supplements I might need before the fast starts. And then throughout the day, I'll drink approximately a gallon of water. So let's say, if you're a 200-pound person, you just divide that by 2. So that's 100 pounds. You take the 100 pounds, convert it to ounces. And that's approximately where you want to be for your water intake during a water type fast. And then it's always okay to go over that amount a little bit, but you don't want to way overdo it. But if you don't drink the water, the fast doesn't work. So that's another thing. If you start dehydrating, your body's going to lock up and it's going to say, nope, we're not doing this. But if you drink, right around that level of water, you're going to be in solid ketosis by day 3. And you're going to feel it. Your breath is going to change. You're going to get keto breath. And it's going to be kind of annoying, especially like for me, I wear a CPAP. So trying to sleep these last couple of days, it was just keto breath inside the mask. And I was more than happy to wake up today and start filming and getting my day going, because it was, you can see the excitement. I've had a wonderful day. My video probably stinks, but that's because I was just kind of tired and I was happy. I was happy at the same time. But the blood work was all amazing. I had a problem. I still have a problem with my hands. It's almost like Raynaud's syndrome.
Raynaud's, yeah.
Yeah. So my hands get
a cold weather injury issue.
Well, yes and no. It started before I even started Carnivore. So after I did a whole bunch of fasts, it was about 20 weeks into my weight loss journey, is where I noticed my hands got lightning cold. But it was almost like they were burning, or somebody was smashing my fingers with a hammer if I was outside for too long. But they don't really change colors. They don't get numb. If anything, they're oversensitive. So it's potential, minor nerve damage from when I was morbidly obese, and I had a lot of water retention in my hands. So my fingers were really fat. Now this ring is a good solid size smaller than my last ring. So if I try to wear my original wedding rings and move my hand at all, it would just go flying across the room and we'd be hunting for it. So yeah, it's just crazy what water retention does to your body.
So with regards to the neurological deficits you're experiencing in your extremities, I was watching something and reading about the importance of ketones to neurological repair, and they do a lot with ketones. We always think about ketones for the brain, right? But Dr. Baker, he was doing some martial arts stuff and really got his neck pretty well dinged up, and that's why he went away from a pure carnivore and added in like up to 100 grams of carbs in his diet, because he wanted to get more ketogenic, because he wanted as many ketones as he could. There was a video that came out not past. I'll have to link it somehow or other, but it had Dr. like as in PhD Dom D'Agostino. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He is to ketones what Dr. Benjamin Bickman is to fat. I mean, he is at the mountaintop. The United States Navy has paid him millions of dollars for his knowledge on ketones. He actually has developed aftermarket ketone salts, which taste horrible, and ketone esters that have put a person into full ketosis in less than 30 minutes. And with his studies, he was able to get Navy SEAL divers. So if you go doing the dive stuff and do the tip of the spear Navy SEAL stuff, when you're underwater breathing, they give you a thing to put in your mouth. You see them in the James Bonds, or rebreathe, or oxygen rebreathers. And you have to be careful, because you could end up with oxygen hypoxia, too much of the disease. So what they have the dive tables. And these dive tables tell a guy, hey, you can dive so many feet, and you can dive those so many feet for such a distance in time, right? By utilizing the ketones and upping their ketones radically, they can dive twice as deep for twice as long without any problem. Ketones are so important. So this whole diatribe is to sit there and say, if I can find the link, I'll get it and shoot it to you. But the video, it's in my watch history. But you get to hear that the neurological repair that you're looking for is enhanced by having more ketone bodies. Okay, so I think that might be something interesting for you. But I had a question for you, John. Have you been listening at all about iodine and iodine supplementation?
It has come across my radar. I haven't looked into it yet. I have seen some videos out there, but I haven't had time to watch them. Just with real life, trying to do my own live streams and video creation and keep up with my 3 children and pets. It's kind of stressful at times, and then I get called out randomly to work. So no, Scotty, I have not.
Well, the reason I say it is they say one of the telltales of a hypothyroid issue is a loss of hair on the side of your eyebrows.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, so this blood panel we did check my thyroid. They did a full blood panel to try to figure out the hands, to see if I had a thyroid dysfunction. They checked my B12. I got way over. I'm way over average on B12 because I've been eating all meats and fats, and that's to be considered. Everything else looked just amazing. I mean, everything was on a perfect level.
Good.
Even though I didn't understand the definition of what things were.
Well, I just know that the iodine, when they test your iodine and they test your thyroid stuff, I think their windows are real small and at the minimums, like to avoid a goiter. But the only real way, we discussed a little bit earlier, the only real way to check your iodine is to give you a bolus, a large shot, give you a bunch of iodine, and then you have to do a urine collection for 24 hours, and they measure how much you pee out. If you pee out a bunch, that means your iodine is fine. If you don't, that means you're low on iodine, and that is the only way to really test the thyroid storage of iodine. So, but go ahead and look at a few. You'll find a few. There's one with Dr. Barry, and a couple of Dr. Barry ones, and one of them he has with Dr. Bickman. And you get a lot of information there. But I see Arlene had a question for you here. Do you think you can do a fast with bone broth or broth protein chicken?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. You could completely. Now, the hard part is just sticking to that for, 5 days. My personal experiments are, basically Monday through Friday. This time I did have an overlap, into Saturday and Sunday. But typically I keep my fasting practices and my experiments, because every fast is a personal experiment as to, how you are mentally up here. Because if you're not okay up here, you're going to have a hard time with the fast, and then it becomes a starvation. So if you get your mindset set up right, like, hey, I'm doing this fast, I'm starting on this day, I'm going to end on this day, but I'm doing this for a specific reason, to either get in ketosis. I might be trying to accomplish weight loss. I might just be trying to reset my gut. And just have an end goal, and figure out what you're going to do when you get done with the fast, because how you break a fast is just as important as how you start a fast.
Absolutely.
And if you're starting with something like bone broth, you're already a step ahead, because typically, like, if I'm going to break a fast, I would have, previously I would have broke it with something soft, like bone broth or an avocado, or something, really light on the stomach, because you don't have the bile in your stomach because you're doing a fast. So your stomach's not producing bile because it's not expecting food. So there's no reason for it to produce bile if it's not getting any food. So when you come out of the fast, you just start out simple with something light like bone broth, or, even hard boiled eggs is something I like to use when I come out of a fast. And it only takes 2 or 3 hours for this section down here to get some decent bile in it. And then you can actually start eating regular food again.
Right. And I think, Arlene, if you were to look up protein sparing modified fast, okay, PSMF, there's a lot of videos out there. There's a clinic over in Germany where they do a lot of inpatient fasting, and they'll give them up to 500 calories in a day of protein, right? And they monitor, and they can stay on that type of a fast. But again, you're not going to have autophagy as a primary thing in that fast, but you can have some other things like giving your body a chance to heal from a variety of things, as John said. But absolutely, Arlene. Karen says here, I've lost 100 pounds twice before. Yeah, there you go. Never been like this. Yep, the fat is, you know what? I like what Carnivore Kip says. The fat in my family tree ends with me. And I was actually going to ask the community, I think I mentioned it the other day, we might not want to say that we're losing weight, because the whole idea of the word, the connotation to losing, involves finding, misplacing. No, what we're doing is we are reconstructing our bodies, and we are burning off the weight, and we're not making it possible for it to rehome itself just like a boomerang, But I
Right.
think the whole losing weight is a paradigm. We want to move away from all the terms of the paradigm of the standard American diet and the diet industry, right? We're talking about a lifestyle and a life change, and we whole new vocabulary. It's not welcome, because that yo-yo thing you're talking about there, Karen.
Now, for me, I am actually on a mission to get down in weight. So a lot of fasting is how I started. And then I started with the carnivore diet. And I noticed one thing particular, at least for my situation, is the carnivore diet made me healthier by light years in many different ways. But it also helped me maintain my weight. It wasn't a weight loss strategy. And I talk about weight loss strategies a lot on my channel, because it really is a strategy, because I come in with a plan. I think about what I'm going to do before I get started, and I have a basic expectation of the numbers to expect. Like I said, my first fast, I lost 30 pounds when I did the same type of fast. This time I had already lost a bunch of weight. I'm down, 135 pounds now. So I had lost a bunch of weight. So my expectations for this fast were approximately 50% of what I did the first fast, because I don't have the water weight to push
Right.
out. And that's the first thing to go. Even in this fast here, I got my edema and all that kind of figured out, but I was still getting rid of the water weight in the very beginning of the fast. So the first 2 to 3 days, you're just losing a lot of pounds. You're just shedding the pounds, shedding the water.
Mhm.
You're shedding a little bit of fat, but the fat loss comes, really, really hardcore after, day 3, in my opinion, at least my experience with it. So, I mean, your body's in overdrive, and it's just ready to go. It's ready to do stuff. You want to wake up. You don't want to take naps. You're just happy to live life. And that's why fasting has just been so incredibly just a blessing.
It's a very powerful tool in our pack that has, for far too many years, has been way too often overlooked as a therapeutic for more than just weight, right? You're talking
Oh,
about a lot of
absolutely.
things.
Yeah.
Hello, Sunshine in Alaska. How are you? They just watched your video. Great job
Hey,
on
thank
your
you.
blood work. Good job. Thank you
Yeah.
for Sunshine. We appreciate the opportunity to host you as John is sharing his adventure with us.
I think they're down in Juneau. I talk back and forth with this person a little bit here and there, but the
Cool.
blood work actually came as quite a surprise. I was amazed with the numbers because when I started Carnivore, I was on the fence. I didn't know if I was going to like it or love it or hate it. Because I've tried thousands of other things, just like the person that mentioned earlier how they lost 100 pounds a half dozen times in their lives. Well, I did too. I mean, I've
Did
lost
you?
100 pounds several times, but I wasn't able to keep it off for this long. I mean, just being able to maintain over 100 pounds of weight loss in over 40 weeks was just mind blowing to me because normally I would have lost it for a couple of months and then I would have been right back to where I started, if not, 100 pounds, 50, 100 pounds heavier. That's just kind of the circle of life if you don't know a little bit about what you're trying to do or how you got there in the first place. And that's how most of us lost weight before. We just ate salads. We got on the treadmill, we went for lots of walks. And then what happens when we stop walking? We still eat the same as if we're out running and jogging and going to the gym. Well, of course, we're going to gain more weight because now we're sitting still. But that's just human nature. We become lazy over time because if we're doing something that's not sustainable, we're not going to be able to maintain it. And that's why I like Carnivore, because I can do this sustainably.
Mm.
I do gain weight at times, but I'm not gaining the kind of weight that I used to gain when I was eating just crap garbage food all the time.
What do you think? And for the people in the comments also, what do you think that about the statement that says it's just not that we've changed what we eat, but we've equipped ourselves with an arsenal of knowledge that was denied to us or hidden from us. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, when we talk about the times we ate the salads and we did all the crazy things, right? And no one ever told you, well, yeah, but that salad is undigestible and it causing irritable bowel syndrome, and the sauces and the seed oils. And so I think maybe also a key component of doing this way of eating and being connected to this community, right, is a lot of information, and information is power. And it enables you, like John, I mean, that you would do the water fasts and do this, and that the knowledge base you have is so much greater than any other time you went into a diet, because all the other diets, all they said was count calories and
Mhm.
do these very, very sophomoric approach to an infinitely complex series of things. And now we know, yeah, eating meat is not just carnivore is not just eating meat.
No, no, it's not.
There's a
Now,
lot to it.
if somebody sat me down when I was 16 years old and explained uh, actual health and nutrition, ketosis, when it happens, autophagy, when it happens, gave me the building blocks to actually create my own health plan, I would have been light years ahead of when I just figured out all of this stuff because this is just recent. 44 weeks ago was when I actually started the weight loss journey. 3 months before that, I was becoming more educated. I was researching every type of fast under the sun. I was researching all these doctors on YouTube that were talking about different types of fast, how to do it. I wasn't even thinking about carnivore at that time. So when I started fasting and I came out of my fast, I was still sugar addicted. I still had a lot of sugar cravings, and salads are one thing I noticed right away, that a head of lettuce will trigger a sugar response out of me.
Hmm.
Spinach, broccoli, for instance, a handful of nuts. It'll just, yeah, it just keeps going and it won't stop. And even with carnivore, I am a binge eater, by the way, because somebody commented down here something about you'll always be a binge eater until you find the root cause. Well, I just came to the conclusion like, all right, I'm a binge eater. I have to accept that I'm a binge eater for now until I can find that root cause, because I haven't found it yet. So what way of eating works best with binge eating? And for me, carnivore does work because I can eat the heck out of meat and fat, but I have a really hard time overeating it because my stomach tells my brain like, hey, you've had enough, you're done, go drink some water. If you're going to drink any, you're going to do anything. So I mean, there's an off button with carnivore. Now, if I were to binge eat on vegetables, the only thing I would get from vegetables is either one of two things. I'm going to get diarrhea or I'm going to get constipation, because that's just how it works for me. And whoever the doctor was a long time ago that didn't prescribe me, but they told me I needed more fiber and get Metamucil. What a mistake that was. That was a horrible mistake. I was bound up for like 3 days. I almost needed to go to the doctor just to get it removed. And what a pain in the butt, literally. That was horrible.
Well, I got to tell you, the issue for me in all of that is that we had the global pandemic not too long ago, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't I think that brought to light, and I'm going to try hard not here to bash doctors. I think doctors are too far down the chain of a lot of external forces that don't allow them to do the things that they started out wanting to do. I think deep down in their hearts, they wanted to help people. And there's some really smart people. There's no doubt about how smart you're going to be to get into medical school, to finish medical school, to do your internship, get all that stuff done. These are very capable and smart human beings. But when you lay over it a bureaucracy that says the standard of care, right? So let's say there's a doctor out there that says, hey, I want to do what's right by my patients, and I want to tell them about all this stuff that was 5 years ago about getting a ketogenic diet to help them with their diabetes. That wasn't part of the standard of care. They could be sued into yesterday, right? This whole, I suspect, and we're not going to solve it here, but I think a big issue is that the doctors are hamstrung, hogtied, and handcuffed when it comes to leading edge things that the pharmaceutical industry won't make money off of, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why it makes it really hard to find information on all this, and like you said, you did 3 months of research and looking into it. You've continued to do it throughout your journey, right? And but even just the other day when I was watching Dr. Berry, he had to be careful what he was saying about medical advice. And a non-medical doctor who has a PhD in some wonky stuff was saying, I can't tell you this is medical advice, but Dr. Berry can't say anything at all, right? So there's a real political problem, a legal problem that wraps into this whole standard American diet. But the good news is you're well on your way. You understood. Now, how much of an impact is your success having on the people around you? And by the way, Laura, hello, everybody. Let's just say hello to Laura real quick. Hi, Laura. What do you think, John? Your impact, not in your YouTube community, but in the squishy, real, living, walking, talking people around you. What do you think that's been?
I have a lot of people here locally that follow what I'm doing, not just because they want to lose weight. They're just like more in awe that this is possible, because they never thought it was possible. And before I got started, I didn't think I could drop weight this fast, this reliably, with little to no exercise. And I'm not saying that exercise is not important. I need to exercise more. And I know that right now. I've come to that conclusion. I've grown into that because my entire channel is based around little to no exercise weight loss. But once you've lost the weight, you need to start moving. You don't want to just lose the weight and stop moving, because you're going to have problems like I'm experiencing now with my hands and my feet. I have neuropathy in my feet because I'm not moving enough. If I were to move more, get out and walk more, I would have healthier feet. My nerve endings would slowly regrow themselves over time, and I'd have a lot less problems mobility wise. But the first step is just getting the weight off. The second step is then starting another routine. And it's just a stepping stone as you go, just get some weight off, start moving more, find some ways to fix what therapy you might need. Like for my case, I'm using that vibration plate that everybody recommended. And that is really working well for my feet. I would recommend anybody, that doesn't have bad knees or hips or joint replacements to try it out. There is an inexpensive version that's like $89 from Life Pro. I would recommend that product only because I actually use that product.
Right.
I wish I was an affiliate, but I'm not. But yeah, it works really well. I've only been using it for a little over a week now. And the most benefit I get out of it is using it about 15 to 20 minutes, about 15 minutes right before I get out the door to go do something, because then my legs are all warmed up. Everything feels good. I have good balance. I want to walk around stores more often. I want to go, explore my surroundings, which is something I never did because my anxiety was just so bad. Hey, I know this guy. He comments on my stuff all the time. He always says that. He's a good guy. He makes me smile.
Well, I tell you, and I mentioned it to you before, and hello, Gio Domingo. Welcome to the house of Scotty P, the Carnivore Scott, aka whatever we want to call it today. But thank you, and I appreciate you dropping it. Well, here's what I know. As you know, I got that vibration plate from my father, and I taught my dad's 89 years old, and he's moving slower now than he used to. I mean, 4 years ago, he was walking 7 to 12 miles a day as a security guard. But life and time have come up, and he's not doing it anymore. So I got him this thing, and he got it about 2 weeks ago now. Well, maybe 2 weeks ago. I can't remember exactly, but he is now doing 2 15-minute sessions a day. And I was talking to him earlier. He was like, "Yep, getting ready to get on the machine. That walks me to nowhere." And he said, but he loves it. He says, "I'm feeling the exercise. It's helping with the edema in his lower legs, but more importantly, it's causing his muscles to have to do things, and that will really facilitate him maintaining lean body mass as a octo. Well, what I don't want to call a 90-year-old, but he's going to be basically a 90-year-old. So I'm really happy I saw that on Bill's channel and went up to his affiliate link. I'm glad you're using yours. But but you said the people in town know what you're doing. How about you've got some children in the house? What are they thinking about things?
They are paying close attention. I got 2 younger daughters. My son and we talk about health quite often because he's stuck in that loop of let's go get, a Starbucks Frappuccino, McDonald's McFlurries and stuff like that. He's always drawn to the easy stuff, and it's just wasting money. And I want to respond to this one person here, Karen, Carnivore Journey. Of course, doctors can't promote carnivore. They need repeat customers. Now, I'm fortunate. My doctor supports everything I'm doing. The only reason he was on the fence when I started, because these doctors, we have to remember, even good doctors, they're so used to spending 15, 20 minutes at most with every single patient, getting the wrong information. Plus, every time, it's kind of like a dentist asking you if you floss, and you say you don't floss, and they get inside your mouth and they're just rolling their eyes. They're like, really? I mean, it's the same thing, because when I told him what I was doing, he really didn't believe me at that time, because he's had 30 different people come through his office before me saying that they were doing this or that. But he can tell with the numbers, he can tell with the success. And now that I've been doing this for 44 weeks, and he has watched all of my doctor's appointments and my progress in between all the different doctor's offices, they can all see the numbers. And now they're like, oh, you're really doing this. Keep doing this. It's working for you. Your numbers are fantastic. Your blood work is amazing. Your blood pressure is perfect. Your sugar levels are great. Your mental capacity is just outstanding, because I can talk to them now. I can communicate with them. That was something I had a hard time. I had a hard time communicating with my wife. I looked like I had Down syndrome. When I looked at some previous videos my wife took of me, I was like, let's go to Krispy Kreme and do they have cream filled donuts? And I was looking pathetic, and it kind of made me upset when I saw it.
I think that has to do with the brain chemistry, and there's a lot of good people out there. I know Dr. Bright and some others who talk about what is it? Change your diet, change your mind, right? Change your brain. Books like that. I mean, there's a growing evidence. In one of those videos I talked about, if you go and you look at the actual studies being conducted now, and you look and use a keyword ketogenic, there are well over 400 ongoing, not word search studies, but on people, living things going on, this trying to do the blind, random, controlled crossover studies on what all this is meaning to health, and the consensus of the data is showing unbelievable things, and there's going to be a huge explosion over the coming years, just like what Dr. Atkins started a lot of this, and then there's a lot of poo-poo in here and there, and then the grain business is out there pushing, and it's kitty time. But
Hey, the cats sell. These guys get more followers than I do.
what's his name?
This one's Molly.
Well, don't flog Molly.
No, Molly doesn't get flogged. Molly flogs back.
No. Well, there's a band my son used to love to watch. It was called Flogging Molly. But anyway, no. I've got a couple of dogs, but they're gone. But there'll be more information, and I think sometimes those of us who are in the carnivore community, I think that we end up being in an echo chamber. We go from live to live, and we go from video to video, and I love it. Then I see new people. I love seeing Giovanni Domingo come in, and some other folks drop in that are from your world, right? But I just love the fact that I saw something on YouTube about YouTube the other day that spoke about YouTube is still growing. The number of people using YouTube, the number of people, we like to think there's a quote unquote a saturation, but I don't think there is a possibility for that, because I think that just the idea of individuals out there telling the story like you have told yours, I think that really does speak to a potential universe of people who really need to hear like your story, and Arlene's story, and Karen's story, and all the different ways, and Lindy's story, because you never know how your story is going to resonate with somebody else halfway around the world.
That's just it. We have followers all the way around the entire globe, which is amazing. But that's another thing. The way this platform is set up, there's endless opportunity for anybody to get out here, share their experience. It doesn't mean you're going to become independently wealthy. It definitely, I'm not becoming independently wealthy. We are getting a little bit of money from YouTube, but not very much until we start implementing different tools and different strategies to make money. But at some point I might have to make this a full-time job. So I really do spend a lot of time with the channels, and I try to contact people like you as often as possible, to help, get my talking points up, and also my opinions and stuff like that out in the public. That way people can see what we're talking about, and they'll understand me when they see my face, because the more often, like I see your face, for instance, in the feeds, the more often I recognize you.
Right.
Videos. So it's just how it works.
Well, today I embarked on a bold maneuver. I put up, and I got a bank account, and I talked to my wife about it and everything, and I put up a buy me a coffee, right? And I've got that on my web page now at the top, and I'm gonna put it in each of my videos and encourage. Because see, I'm at 402 followers right now. I know the follows. I'm not going to chase. I'm not chasing follows. I'm not chasing likes. I'm trying to create some content. But if the time comes, I get over 500 and 503,000, then we can get the super chats, right? Well, I like the super chat, but YouTube keeps half of it, right? So
Mhm.
I'm going to encourage people that if you feel like, supporting, there is that buy me a coffee, and that's $5 thing. And I'm going to use it to pay for the StreamYard, which is, $22 a month.
So
And
I think
it's
my
one
last super chat.
thing.
Oh, sorry. I think my last super chat. They only keep like $1 or something like that out of it. They don't keep much. I get the majority of it.
Okay. I'll have to wait till I get to that juncture. I don't know how much they keep of. Well, I think there's super chats and there's something else. But anyway, they keep certain amounts, and there's a structure for it. But all I can say is that I boldly stepped out into that avenue, not to pay the mortgage, but just to offset the uh, the streaming software. And I want to get a new software. I would like to eventually go back to Premiere Pro or something like that, or even Filmora. Filmora, I'm working with that yesterday, experimenting, and I can turn out a pretty decent video and edits and layers and do things. Um, but again, it's $79 for a year of using it, right? That's when I'm on a fixed income as a retiree. So you got to sit there and say, when you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else, and I got to figure out my yeses and my nos.
Well, here's the thing. You can do all the stuff we're doing right here off of this right here. And I've done it. You've seen me use the phone. The first
Right.
live stream I did with you was with my phone. It's possible. It's just you got to figure out how to do things and make it the way you want to make it, because it was so hard for me to get on here and attach my channel to this StreamYard thing and then figure
Right.
out all the buttons and switches. I was scared the first time I got onto a live stream with you because I didn't know what any of this stuff did. I thought if I touched the button, it was going to boot me out, and then I'd have a hard time getting back in.
I remember those days.
Yeah, it was horrible. I had so much anxiety with that first live stream I ever did. I was thankful that I did it with you, because I mean, no offense, you didn't have like 5,000 people watching all at the same time.
Right.
And that's a big stressor right there. And I've had boosts, I've had jumps in subscribers over the years, and well, not over the years, over the year at times. And when I get too many subscribers, it makes me go like, I don't know what to do next, because now I have expectations. Because when you get 500 subscribers, like in, say one video, you have an expectation to follow up with whatever that video was. That's what these
Right.
people are here for. They want to see that. They want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about your cat. They don't want to watch you, walk around outside, picking vegetables, when you're supposed to be talking about carnivore type stuff, even though we do plant a garden once in a while, but that's, who we are. But I have to remember that, because I don't get views on my nonsense videos like I did an ice sculpture video, show a little bit about the Alaska arts, but that helps me gauge who actually really watches, who comes back. So my audience base is around whatever view that is. So those are the reliable people that want to know, who I am or what I do, not just my carnivore content altogether.
Yeah. So you kind of, if you wanted to, you could stratify your efforts, or you can, and I'm a data guy. I like doing that. And you can, like you were articulating, there are some people who are here, John, because they like your personality, they like the way you approach things, the cadence of your voice, the way you're authentic and you're engaging. And other people like, just the fact, man. I just need to know, how do I get from point A to point B? I want to know why I can't poop. I want to know why I can't do this, why I'm not losing weight. What are some of the factors and the cofactors? And as you learn the craft, I guess. And I'm in the same boat. I struggle every day with, what do I want to put in a video that I'm gonna post to the internet, that's gonna be out there for as long as time, in the Wayback Machine. And I I'm prone um to being a person who use 10 words when one word is enough. And so it's really difficult. And then, like I was saying earlier, sometimes you throw something out there and you don't even ever hit the bottom. There's nothing. And you're like, well, that went over like passing gas in church, like a lead balloon. And then it rips your heart out. And that's when you realize you've surrendered your heart to likes and clicks and comments. It's a delicate balance to sit there and say, I want to turn something out that's worthwhile, that that elicits or evokes a response, but not so much so that I'm dependent on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, typically when I ask for likes and subscriptions and stuff like that, I usually follow it up with something like, I only want serious subscribers. I did a quirky live stream the other day trying to get the subscriber count up over 3,000 this week, and it was kind of a cheesy little live stream, but the whole time I was doing it, I was like, I don't want a bunch of numbers that just sit there. I want active subscribers that want to know a little bit about either who I am, a little bit about Alaska, or how I'm losing weight.
Right.
If I can help them, or maybe they can help me, because I have a ton of subscribers that help me. I mean, they're there 24 hours a day. I mean, I'm getting messages at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I love it. I might not be able to respond to it, but I love it, because when I wake up in the morning, I can pick up my silly little device and I can look at it and be like, oh, this person cares. They want to either help me out because they send me links, they send me, videos and stuff of,
Right.
something I might be interested in that week. And it helps me grow as a person. It helps me heal from the issues that I'm dealing with. And it's just been amazing. But I think we need to say hi to some of these people. People are saying,
Oh yeah,
you
Laura and Dawn are here. It's been a while, Dawn. I'm glad I'm back on, and at a time when you can come on in. I appreciate you coming in. I think Arlene is here saying that she'd like to see the garden too. I mean, again, there's people who want to see the garden, and the people who come in each day, and then there's the looky-loos, kind of like if you put your house up on the market.
Mhm.
And I'll see the numbers jump up on the screen. When you do a live, you get how many people are watching, on at least on your channel, maybe not your affiliated channel, but you start to see these things, and they come in, they come out. You go, well, that's how this is. I mean, this is a business, or a business model says you put yourself out there, just like any brick and mortar, right? And you put yourself out there, and somebody has to click the thumbnail and say, I want to follow what's in there. And if they don't like your presentation, or they do like your presentation, they like your content, all those different things. So you got to figure out who's your target audience. And like you, I'm all about, I like to call it squishy meat bags, people. I like people. And I want to, as you can tell, I like to be in people versus impersonal. And sometimes the videos can become pretty impersonal.
Oh, absolutely. I spend hours, sometimes a week, responding to questions and comments on some of these videos at times. And I love it. I mean, it's a lot of work. It takes me about 2 to 3 hours every day. If I should make a good video, that is, I mean, a video that's worth people responding to, I'll take the time and I'll go through every single comment. I'll go in between the YouTube studio, and then I'll go in between YouTube, because you get comments in two different areas.
Right.
So I have to go back and forth and try to track this stuff down. So I'm always busy, no matter what. And then now my email is getting busier, which is nice. So I have a lot more email traffic, and that's nice because you can respond kind of whenever you need to, instead of, because when somebody responds on YouTube, it's a good idea to reply to them immediately. And that's kind of the way I build my channel as well, because if they're going to take the time to give me the time of day, even if it's negative, they deserve a response. And I do respond to negative people all the time. I don't delete their comments. I don't get upset with them. I just look at them like, okay, you don't agree with me. That's fantastic. You eat vegetables. Awesome. I'm not an advocate against vegetables by any means. I'm an advocate against me eating vegetables, not you.
And at this time, who knows what happens 30 years down the road, right? So I'm gonna catch you here. Don is saying balance between doing what's right and being a people pleaser. That is the eternal struggle. That's Laura. Sorry, I like fish more than beef. Well, that's okay. You gotta be careful about fish, I guess. I don't know. Lindy says, I love our live stream. Yep. It's safe. This is a safe space, and I like that. But I appreciate that, Lindy. That really does mean a lot. It's amazing when I see what you're doing and have accomplished and done, Lindy. Not just in your in your journey with Carnivore, but in what you've done in your space in YouTube and what John has done and others. And I go, oh, I remember when, right? and and I kind of wish this was like Amway. I would get credit for all the people you have. You know what I mean? But it's a journey, and each one of us have our role, and I'm happy to have mine where I do this and help people on board into the Carnivore online live venue, because it does take a bit of getting used to. First time you up this late in a while, Don? Well, I appreciate that you're sacrificing your time with us. Sunshine, our Alaskan gardens are under several feet of snow. Hopefully by June, the plants get in. Yikes. Ain't that the truth? Linda, good to see you. Love that last name. We share it, by the way. And Big Man Alaska. Yes, two quality pieces of beef here at one time. Well, you got lucky. You get sandwiched. You get to be the rose between two thorns. All right, everybody going, hey ho, what do you know? New Mexico. You live, Don, I live in New Mexico. Yep, I miss me some Hatch green chilies. I have to get some north of Tampa for there. Arlene, you guys take care. Oh, you too. If you're taking off, Arlene, you have a good evening. I thank you for spending your time here. I know you could be anywhere else, and I appreciate you taking time to be here. And then, Laura, I enjoy lifting people up. Doing the channel is definitely a time consuming. Yep. Time will tell. That's right, Laura. Lifting people up is a full-time job. Yep. Oh man, Lindy, Laura, I have my first live debut here at Scotty's. Yep. Hey, by the way, I'm more than happy to let people explore their creative talent in this space.
I do want to say something about Lindy. I have been watching her for quite a while before I even started doing live streams. And I want to say she is like the most beautiful little flower, because she started out like this, and now all of a sudden she's able to talk and communicate. And that's kind of how we grow when we do carnivores. All of a sudden you go from hardly able to talk, you're bashful, you're shy, and then you become a chatterbox. And a little, backstage secret that I use before I do live streams. I didn't do it this time. That's probably why my conversation's kind of, slower than normal.
You eat something.
I eat sardines.
That's right.
Sardines are a super boost. They give you a lot of energy. They make me like, and I can just rail out talking points like one after the other. And then I'll go to the comments down here and I'll pick up where somebody else is when I start to fall off a little bit. And then I can just keep going for another 45 minutes and continue a live stream for, I think the longest one I've done now is 2 hours. And that's amazing, considering I was scared to make 5-minute videos when I started all this.
Well, I have over my military career found the opportunity to mentor and coach a lot of people into a public speaking type of role, and I've always found that there are probably like 3 axioms, if you want to say that. One of them is even like, let's say you're at an event and you're talking to someone, and you want to get a conversation going. Ask them about themselves. People will talk about themselves. The reason is, to the primary thought is, you can speak to your personal knowledge. You are the expert on you, and no one can question you. Right. So if you speak about the things that you're familiar with, that it becomes easier. And third, people love to talk about either successes or failures. Right. And so we can get on here. There are plenty of YouTube videos that say, I fell off the wagon. I made a mistake. I had a keto treat, and now I'm in the 7th level of Dante's Inferno, dealing with the after effects of eating a dozen donuts, right? Or you can say the joys. I've met this non-scale victory. I've overcome this significant, I'm not talking trivial, I've overcome a significant thing, like you were saying, sleep apnea, and maybe getting off the your father.
Hmm.
all night long, you know what I mean? And the freedom, or like Lindy talking about the freedom she's had because of this tremendous weight loss. And, all, and I know that people have been talking in the stream tonight about the tremendous weight losses that they've had and the freedom. Like, if you forget that, hey, I can go driving now, and I haven't been driving in a long time, right? So, I think it's easier to speak when you have that comfort and that knowledge and that success than it would be other. But also inside of you, I don't know about you, but inside of me, there's this overwhelming sense of responsibility to share what works. At least for me, you know, I really want to. Maybe this isn't a great analogy, but I just want to be that kid who runs home to tell my parents something great that I've learned today. You know, that's that invigoration you have when you say, I figured something out, something that's been beating me up.
You know, I had that moment not too awful long ago. My mom, uh, so I was adopted. I don't know if my adopted mom watches my channel, but well, actually, my adopted mom does watch my channel. I don't know about my biological mom, if she watches my channel or not, but my adopted mom lives on the East Coast. She's an elderly lady, but she watched my videos and she's like, I didn't even know who I was watching. It looked so professional and you spoke so clearly and so well. I don't even recognize who you are. And,
Mhm.
you know, she gave me the biggest high five and it's from as far away as she is. She's about 4,000 miles away. But that was the first time in my life I actually feel like I made my parents actually proud, besides graduating high school and spending my time in the military like I did, because all this life I've been struggling. And now I'm on a path. I just want to hopefully help others by sharing my experience, my
Right.
honest experience with as many people as possible, and see where that takes me. If that takes me somewhere, that's fantastic. But no matter what, even if there is some financial gain there, I don't care about the financial gain. I'm looking to help people more than, make $20. I mean, it's just so much more fun to know that, like, all these people around me, for instance, like local here, I have a bunch of followers that live here, a lot of followers in the Samoan community, and they're pretty big people. They got trapped in the standard American diet once they got off the island. So they got over here and all of a sudden they just, I mean, they're like, I'm in trouble. I need help. And I'm like, I am here to
Right.
help you. Just listen. All you have to do is listen. You don't have to comment. You don't have to like. You don't even have to subscribe. Just watch some of these videos. Try some of these things, because if you don't try, nothing's going to work. You're not going to find your own rhythm, because even if what you're trying is different than what I'm preaching, you're still getting motivated to do something. Hopefully, as a result of me sharing my struggles, because it sucks when you're struggling. And I've done a lot of struggling here, made a lot of mistakes to get this far, and I'm just trying to make improvements and see exactly how this carnivore road can take me,
Right.
because I'm feeling so much better now.
Well, the thing is, I think when people have walked the walk, have done the journey, other people could say you have um, nearly instant credibility, because that's one of the great things with Lindy, and that's going to be one of the great things with you as time goes by. And I think Laura Spath, I don't know if you watch Laura Spath or not. No, she's achieved what she does. She lost a lot of weight. She even had skin removal surgery. She has a lot to share on these things. But sometimes when you see a person who's already looking like they're Adonis, or they're really successful, right? It's hard to imagine that they've had the same suffering that you have had. So it's really, I think, imperative that people who are uh, relatively new on the journey have a voice and a spot where they can share, so that other people can, like you said, your Samoan community and your local community, that they can have the opportunity to even to even have um, a dream, right? That they could be in this position at some point in time, that the CPAP might come off, the clothes, all the things, right? But no, earlier there, I noticed Lindy said carnivore confidence is real. Well,
Hmm.
I want to link that directly to what you said about a comment earlier that said your wife had shown you videos when you were in this glucose induced um, fog, right? Where your speech and your cognition were completely off. It's almost as if you were drinking, right? I mean, I don't know if you were ever a drinker, John. I used to be a
Yep,
big drinker.
I
It's a
used to
problem.
be.
I'm dealing with it. But the impacts. I mean, we all have seen the person who's totally drunk and doesn't know that they're drunk, right?
Yep.
But now we're saying to ourselves, looking back on ourselves, wow, that guy or that gal had no idea how ridiculous they looked, they sounded, or how much pain they were really in. I think a lot of time people are ignorant of the pain they're in, right? Until they get out of it and they look back. Like you would talk about inflammation. If you're going to drop 10 pounds of water, you're going to have a lot less inflammation, right? It's not about the
Mhm.
rate falling off, it's about the finger not hurting, right? And you said the neuropathy from all the swelling. So I just think that altogether, the myriad of victories we have that in, involve our mental state are just, yeah, by all means, this everything that we see here is let me see if I can do this real hold on. I'm gonna go here. Boom. There we go. When he comes back, I'll bring him back. But this whole idea of what we're doing in carnivore space and how freeing it is, how many things get brought into let's see if I can pull that out. Exit. There we go. He's back. But again, it's by having voices, it's by sharing and doing the things you're doing there, particularly with when you talk about responding to people. It really matters if someone, like you said, puts out a comment and you comment back. Sometimes you get going back and forth and you have another separate conversation in that day, I'm sure.
I had a big argument with a person. I believe it was in a community tab. I don't know if it was actually an argument or I was thinking it was an argument by the way I was taking it personally.
Hmm.
But we went back and forth, and we had a long, back and forth conversation, and eventually we were both like, yeah, we both agree with each other at the end. I was like, well, this is amazing. This is exactly what a
Right.
conversation should be. It might not start out the greatest, but it ended up, that this person might be a new subscriber now. I don't know, but they everything worked, beautifully the way it should work. And a lot of that is because my brain is functioning now. Because before, like anything you said or anything you would do that I didn't agree with, I would get red in the face. I would get upset.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd be wanting to fight, or I'd just be like, nope, shutting this off. I'm going away. I'm done. I'd be quitting jobs, for no reason. And typically, I can look back at most of the jobs I've ever quit in my life, and I never really once quit the job. I was usually quitting the management because if the management sucks, then why stick around if I'm not having fun? I've been driving a truck for over 2 decades of my life, so
Right.
I'm I'm going to work for people that work for me, not me work for people that don't work for me because that's no fun at all. So yeah.
Well, I think that encompasses all the things we've been talking about. Is that when it's just like being a parent. Sometimes as a parent, you have to do things with your child where you have to absorb the abuse, you have to absorb the hits, right? Because you're the adult in the situation. We always can't l- devolve into tit for tat with people. You know what I mean? But now that we're in this, we understand one, a person who's in that sugar induced mental state is almost held harmless for what they're saying and doing because they can't see it. I mean, you don't know what it's like to be a parent till you're a parent. I'm sorry, in the text, you know what I mean? When you realize it and you get out of the headspace of a glucose soaked brain, right? Then you start to realize things. Yeah, and so us as the vanguard of this way of life, we have a duty to, just like with children. I don't mean to say people children, but you know what I mean. They're in a state to where they're not necessarily fully responsible, and look at the billions of dollars that are spent to convince them the standard American diet is the right way, right? So I think sometimes in our effort to be crusaders, we forget our numbers are few, our message is strange, right? It's only our results that earn us the opportunity to share with people what we did. People say, "Gosh, John, what are you doing? You sound good. You look good. Your vibe is really energetic." I want to know because of those things. And then we have to very carefully craft our words and walk around it, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to scare them off like a little Bambi, you know? Because you know how much power there is in this. Can you imagine just blurting it out and turning a person off of it, and they go 5 more years into full-blown type 2 diabetes and heart damage, right? That's the real burden on the shoulders of the successful carnivores.
I walked into my old employer when I started losing weight. I was literally almost bedridden. I wasn't driving a truck at the time, so I was working at an auto parts place, O'Reilly's Auto Parts. And I walked in there just last weekend, I think it was, and I saw the parts manager. He's an older guy. He's like Moses. He knows every part. You know, the company's going to be screwed if that guy just up and dies, because he knows so much about the store and he knows everything there is to know about auto parts.
Right.
But he looked at me, and he's a bigger guy himself. And he looked at me and he's like, "Stand back a little bit." So I backed up, and he's looking me up and down. And he's like, "Holy cow." He's like, "What's your YouTube channel again? I need to start listening to you, because you're doing what you said you were out to do." Because when I started working there, I told the boss at the time, I said, because it was kind of in between seasons, so there wasn't any real, predominant trucking work at that time anyways. I said, well, I can work here for a while until something bigger and better comes up, but I'm trying to get back into shape, and delivering auto parts was helping me do that. So I was walking more. I was injured all the time. My feet were always injured because I lost so much weight so fast. It sprung, plantar fasciitis in my feet. That became a huge problem for quite a while. It's gone now. I don't have any symptoms of plantar fasciitis now. I can go for long walks. So that improved, but it's the adjustments that my body made. I got no more back pain. I had pain in my knees, my ankles, my hips, lower back was always hurting. Didn't matter if I was sitting up or laying down or going for a walk. I had pain somewhere. And something I noticed recently is that I don't have any more neck pain. My head was so swollen and so fat. I mean, if anybody looked at my older photos, my head was like this big giant melon. It was swollen. It was retaining water, and there was a lot of weight up there. So when I'm sitting in a big truck, I'm a tall guy, so I'm sitting in a seat and I have to stoop down, to see below the visor. Mm-hmm. And the traffic lights for some reason are right at the height of the visor. So you get neck problems, and I haven't had any neck problems in a long time. So that's just one of the many off-scale victories that I've had just for, doing carnivore. And even when I was eating a keto type diet, I had a lot of pain that wasn't going away. It was still there. It was there all the time. I already had a lot of the weight off. I haven't lost really that much weight in comparison on the carnivore diet until just recently, when I just, railed out that last 15 pounds of weight loss. And that was mainly because of fasting. But one thing I know for myself is that I can maintain the current body weight I'm at now, with eating burger patties, eating bacon, some butter here and there. And I didn't really get into the whole butter munching thing. I don't know. Did you eat a lot of butter, Scotty?
I eat a lot of butter, but I don't do anything special. I just slice it and eat it.
Yeah, I was never one to like get spoonfuls of butter and just start eating it. I tried it at first. I used it as a condiment on my cheeseburgers for a little while, and I kind of got away from that because it wasn't necessary, because my previous digestion issues from all the garbage I was putting in my gut, even the plant-based stuff and the fruits and stuff like that, I was having digestive issues because of the fruit as well. And I got away from the fruit just recently, finally, because I didn't think much of it. I was like, well, it's better for me to eat fruit. I was using the excuse, it's better for me to eat this fruit than it is for me to go to the pantry and grab a chocolate chip cookie or an Oreo or something sugary. So that was my, I was falling back on that excuse to not be, more strict with my carnivore way of eating. And I wrote on that for a while. And there was a guy named Andre that popped up in my feed quite a bit when I was talking about this stuff. And he's like, well, you're still carb addicted. And it kind of bothered me. when he said that. But I got to thinking about it. I was like, this guy he's not saying it to bother me. And if he is, he's saying it to bother me just enough because he knows me well enough now that this is what's going to motivate me to go to the next level. He's just, he's just turning the key and unlocking the door for me. That's all he's doing. And it everything improved right after talking to him. I was 100% dedicated. Like, all right, no more of this stuff. It makes me feel sick. So let's stop feeling sick. Let's stop going to places like Taco Bell because it's going to make you have diarrhea. I mean, Todd from Carnivore Cure said that. He goes on about, stuff like Taco Bell and how our gut just rejects it. But then we still go back to the place. It's like, okay.
We got a couple of restaurants I go to that are buffets, but we went to it on Thursday night, but they good down home Southern cooking. And another one is a Chinese one. And I've learned to find the things that, for me, it's not the meat. Oh, that's another big kitty. But it's not the meat; it's the oils they're cooked in, right? Yeah. So I the other night I had pork chops. I had 4 pork chops. I had a little bit of a barbecue on them. I literally wiped the barbecue off of my 4 pork chops, and even though they're pork and even though they're kind of low fat, I was still basically doing the carnivore thing. But the fried chicken, which was really, really good, I said nope, because I do it in that canola oil. And what happens is every time I do that, I end up really swollen. I have a lot of edema and a lot of joint pain. So I figured out the way. And so the other night when we went to a hockey game, right? 2 weeks ago, we went to a hockey game. Oh no, last week we went to a hockey game. And my wife and I, we were sitting there, and I got a burger. I got a double cheeseburger. I put a little mustard on it, threw away the buns, and I ate that, right? And as I'm eating it, right? My wife says, guess what I have for you? I said, what do you have for me? She brought a little container, a little Tupperware container with half a stick of butter in it. And I put the butter and I took a bite. I know people are like, what is he doing? But my wife brought purse butter to the hockey game because she knew I'd want to have fat with the meat. You know what I mean? And I was like, amen. Now, today I did have a Costco hot dog, right? And I know that there'll be some things that are in that won't agree to the purist, but I didn't eat the pizza, right? And it was good. But I want to cover a couple things here real quick here. We had some conversation that was going on here between Dawn and Arlene and Laura, and it talked a lot about some personal trials and tribulations that Dawn is going through. And I know that the rest of the ladies in there throwing up some prayers for those issues. And Dawn, I'm a big believer in prayer, and I'm so glad that we have people on the channel that care enough to be bold enough. And Arlene was out there evangelizing and talking to people about a lady at the supermarket and the challenges that they have with eating meat. But again, I think the whole thing there, we're talking about bad backs and things going on and broken hearts in our families. But the bottom line is we're all here for one another. And I'm so proud to be associated with people that care about other people like that will just go ahead and do these things within the community. So I appreciate you all doing it. I didn't want you to think that I wasn't seeing people, and I wasn't recognizing the conversations. And I'm glad that this is a place you can do that. So I really do appreciate all of you. Yep, you sure can there, Laura. Doing better, bone and knee exercise. Yep. Well, again, I think John was a perfect example when he talks about losing a lot of weight and a lot of inflammation, right? With that weight, John, you're talking about your CPAP and your apnea is getting better and decreasing, right? Well, we know that a lot of that obstructive sleep apnea has to do with a large neck. Now, my son, he always used to tell me about, dads tell stories about their youth. And in my youth, I was a bouncer in a lot of places, right? And my son said that, yeah. And my son says to me, he says, yeah, but Dad, you're only like a 1-roll bouncer. And I'm like, a 1-roll bouncer? He goes, yeah, the big guys, they got 3 rolls in their neck. and you show me pictures, and you're looking at these guys that are close to 400 pounds, 6.5 foot tall, 400, 450 pounds. They're big, but they've got a lot of adiposis, and they're so heavy. Like you said, their heads are huge, but that neck having the 3 rolls of fat on them. And I'm thinking to myself, as you were talking about your success with your sleep apnea and your kitty cat getting in your in everything, but has to be a lot of relief and decompression on your vertebrae, not having all that adipose tissue to um, interfere with everything. Yes.
Awkward silence. What's going on?
No, no, no. I was just saying that losing the weight, it wasn't just losing the weight in your cranium, but it's
No.
losing the weight on your neck. That's really helping with the pain too.
Oh, absolutely. That freaking fat man shelf that used to be back there, that's finally gone.
Yeah.
My son used to pick on me and like set stuff on it at times. You could almost set a Matchbox car on it at one point. Yeah, he was always poking at it because I was always sitting at that kitchen table where I do most of my filming,
Right.
and playing games on my cell phone and messing around watching YouTube stuff. This was before YouTube, and I was a hot mess. I mean, I was a hot mess. I thought that I had so much anxiety I would hide in my phone, but I'd do it in plain sight, which is the worst part for the families because they were sitting there watching me. And when my wife would get upset or my kids would get upset about me not paying any attention to anybody in the house, I would just ignore them and I would go back into my phone and I'd make an excuse, as to why I was on my phone so much or this or that. Now I'm on my phone because I'm doing work, and rarely do I actually get a chance to play video games anymore because I used to just sit there. Like right now, if I wasn't on the live stream, I'd be sitting at the table playing around, or I'd be laying in bed watching a movie.
Right.
But that's just what I do in between everything else that I do these days. But yeah, summertime's coming. The snow's going to start melting in the next couple of months, and then hopefully we're going to have dry roads again, and our work's going to pick up. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, now, do you just going out on completely different little journey? I've heard you talk about some of this before in your videos, but do you do any hunting of your own?
I don't do any hunting. I used to go fishing quite a bit, but the average fishing trip that I was going on was, we'd load up the entire family. We'd drive down to the Kenai. We'd go dip netting for a while. But that would cost us, the starting pay for that would be about $500 for the trip just to start out. So down and back, it would be about $500 for camping and with the kids and all the food we'd have to bring. And then if you're dip netting, if you get into the fish pretty hard, you got a lot of work to do all of a sudden because you got to put that fish away. You got to make sure you have ice for the fish. There's no ice down at the fishing hole, so you have to go to the store and come back. That's extra money. That's extra trips. And then one year we had a radiator failure on a holiday weekend, and I had to be to work the next day. So I had to go banging on doors. They opened up a Napa auto parts store just out of nowhere. They opened the store. They sold us a radiator. I didn't have a way to put the radiator in, so they called their friends at an auto body shop, at the end of the spit at Homer, and they let me drive down there, and they put that radiator in within 2 hours, and I was back down at the campsite. But we had a vehicle to go home, or else we would have been stuck.
Right.
It was like God intended that very moment for that to happen, and everything played out, like it was supposed to within about 2 hours. It was the most beautiful thing.
Well, I just said, I know you talked about sometimes neighbors will have extra meat and do it. I was thinking about you maybe getting into meat prep because, like you said, now that you're doing a carnivore and someone came up to you with a good chunk of caribou or whatever, and you could grind it and make your own jerky and stuff that you would take on the road. You know what I mean?
No, I'd package it up. Now, caribou doesn't have a lot of nutritional value. There's been natives that have been found in the tundra. They starved to death with a full belly full of caribou. There's not a whole lot of fat content there, so there was no fat for them to burn. But it's really good if you actually like grind it up with some fat. You can make some amazing meatballs with it.
Hmm.
Spaghetti sauce type meals. Yeah, caribou and moose meat. Yeah, they both work great for spaghetti.
Well, again, it's just the idea you know, you were talking about the trials and tribulations of family and fishing and trips, but you're not the man you were when you did that before, as far as physical health, mental outlook, acuity, things of that nature. And who knows, maybe someone there in Alaska will sit there and say, hey, don't go and do the big hard thing. Come up to my property. You got a nice little stream here. You know what I mean? There are opportunities for people, but it's just the idea that you're a completely different person than you were on some of those journeys. And that work would be less work for you. But I just thought it'd be interesting to watch the big man in Alaska makes moose jerky or whatever, jerky, and for preparing when you're on your road driving. And now you sit there and say, when you got a video going, if you can, I don't know if you can, you can pull out a great big hunk of beef jerky like this, because I don't know about you, but beef jerky is too expensive for me to buy at a store. To
You
buy a
know,
pound is ridiculous.
it's almost too expensive to make at home. I mean, up here at least. I mean, it's possible. I know I can do it now with more education that I've had. With buying meat purchases and stuff like that. I can definitely do it now. But before, when I tried making beef jerky, it was costing me about the same price it would be at the store. I was like, wow, this is crazy, and it takes a lot of time. It's not an easy process, and you have to consider it doesn't store very long either. So packaging is really important. If it goes bad, then you're going to get sick. So you got to worry about that too.
Well, I guess I don't know. I've made my own jerky. I've made jerky out of beef liver, and that's convenient. You can almost get that for free. A lot of people
Mhm.
don't want liver, and I just take the liver out of and I like liver, by the way. But I take the liver, I just take it out of the package. I put it on parchment paper and put it in the oven at 175, and put it that no, it's on a rack in the oven. I mean, it's on a rack in a pan, but it's on parchment paper. I repeat, do not put your liver on a grate, because it's so soft. A lot of it's going to stick to the grate, and it's going to be impossible to clean that grate off. So what you do, you put it in your oven. It takes about a total of 12 hours. So if you get everything ready, you put in at 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night, you'll be done. What you'll do, after the first 3 hours, you'll go in there and you can kind of flip it over on a new piece of paper. It'll be a little bit wet. And then you go in another 3 hours. Now you got 6, 7, 8 hours in there. It's dry. It's just rolling, and you just roll it around. And next thing you know, you've got liver jerky. Then what I do is I take the liver jerky and I put them in baggies. I put in a baggie in the freezer, and then I pull out one stick, because a whole slice of liver will come down to one stick
Mhm.
of desiccated, dehydrated liver. You can do it in your oven. All you have to do is add a little Redmond salt, maybe a little pepper if you like that, and you've got one of the most nutritious things, and you don't kill all the B vitamins because you never really got over 170 degrees, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty simple to do that, and then just throw it in the freezer, and then you can put a stick of liver into your lunch bag, and you gnaw on that on down the road. And you can do the same thing with beef. It's really pretty simple. It's not that hard, and you just throw it in the freezer. But again, cost is a factor for sure, for sure.
One thing I like doing in the summertime is making steak bites for the road when I go to work or stuff. That'd be my snack, either that or hard boiled eggs. I'm getting back into making pickled eggs again, and I love pickled eggs made with turmeric because they get that nice yellow color, and
Mm.
they taste so good. But yeah, you just pack 3 of those at work, and that's your meal. You don't need much else other than that. And that was a lot of the fasting I would do too. Would be meals of 3 eggs at a time. And eggs don't do a darn thing to your ketosis. They don't affect your blood sugar at all. They give you a lot of nutrition. Granted, they don't have all the nutrition a person needs, but you have a lot more nutrition than if you were doing a water fast per se.
Oh,
Plus,
sure.
you're satiated, and people that want to do fasting that haven't done fasting before, and they also want to stay on a carnivore type plane, absolutely, I'd recommend doing an egg fast any day of the week, as long as you're not allergic to eggs.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there, and I just find that there are a lot of things we can do, but I think the long pole in that tent is prepping, and that means preparing and planning, and sometimes our days end up with too few hours.
Hmm.
Reading here, first I want to talk, Laura. You talked about making pemmican. I still have some pemmican in the refrigerator. Made it with too much salt. I'll have to do it again. But I made some pemmican because I rendered my own tallow, and then I took the beef and I did it like I just said before, but made it into a dried beef in the oven. Then I pounded it out and did everything and made my own pemmican, but I didn't put any fruit in it, and it should last a long, long time. But tell you what, you have got to have your big boy pants on when you take a bite of pemmican. That's a lot of fat, because you eating the butter is one thing, but taking a bar of tallow and biting into that tallow and just feeling that texture, that's a you better be ready for that. That's my personal thing. But now I'm getting all this sad. I'm getting long faces of people talking about their dogs, and their people that pass, not people, but dogs that pass. And I know that's hard for people, and I always hate it when I have to do that. I am just always, always, always uh, deeply moved by the passing of a pet, and I know it's crazy, but it's just the way it feels to see a great big old guy, and I'm all weepy face, and I'm having to have a dog put down or a cat put down. I think that's half the reason I don't want any more, because I don't want to go through that. I'm not. I don't like it. It's not my thing. So I'm really sorry to hear about that, and I know it's just hard. There's no end for and but around that. It's hard.
Kind of like losing a child. When it hurts a lot. I noticed when cats pass away, especially with cats. I don't know why it's a little less with dogs, but for me with cats, it's traumatizing, because I have a weird connection with animals in the first place. But when a cat passes away, they take a lot of you with them, because they're there for all the oddball situations you've ever been through. When you're upset, they're the ones, sitting here in my lap, cuddling up to me.
Right.
They're coming for attention, even though they're just looking for food, and they would probably eat me if I died. But still, they take a lot of that emotions and everything you went throughout their entire time they were with you. They take it with them to heaven, and it's just, yeah, it's a struggle to get over an animal passing. And I found that out more so in my adult life than I did in my childhood life, because that was my responsibility. That was just like my kid. I came home, that was the thing that showed up at the door and was glad to see me and was always happy to see me, and bounces on me in the middle of the night just like a toddler would. It's just, yeah, they're just amazing creatures.
I think that as adults, we realize that these fur babies, these extensions of our family, show us in a daily basis what unconditional love is,
Mm-hmm.
right? And and I'm not going to speak for other people. I can speak for myself, but they definitely show you, if you're honest, where you're falling down, right? And that's one aspect, but it's just we value them, and that value system, if it's not there, I don't want to know you. If you're a person who doesn't give a large rodent's rectum about how an animal's treated, or how their life is, or their well-being, I understand if you don't have $5,000 to spend on experimental surgery. I get that, okay? But it should wreck your heart, right? Because that's what I believe is a core principle of someone's life. To be callous and disregarding of that life means I don't believe I can put my trust in you. And so I think that's one of the things that we see. I mean, it's like I know this would be strange, but I never understood why the game of golf was such a business-oriented endeavor. And then I ended up needing to play a lot of golf. I don't do it well, but you learn a lot about a person out there. You learn about, well, does the ends justify the means, or does it matter how you got there, right? And who are you in competition, and what are you willing to sell off of your integrity, right? I think pets do that to us also. When you see someone and they kick their dog or their whatever, you just need to disassociate if you can, if they're not family, because there's just nothing good that's going to happen in that relationship.
Okay, Scotty, it's getting late around here. I got some wrapping up of stuff I got to get taken care of, but I just want to say bye to everybody. And I mean, this is always a fun time for us. I mean, he was already an hour into the live stream, and I drug him out another hour and a half. I feel pretty confident every time I come into his live streams now that we're going to make it a lot more fun and a little more interesting. And yeah. Hopefully, I think just keep doing what you're doing, Scotty. Everything's going to come together. I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah, so. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the risk and coming out and sharing. I'm really happy for your video. I'm gonna have to go watch it to see all these blood numbers. I'll be interested in your ALT, your AST, your HDLs, your triglycerides, and all those things. I'm gonna be interested.
I mean, I did put a little bit up on the screen, but for the most part, it was just a lot of, this was normal. That was normal. This is normal. This is going to be monotonous. So get ready. This is normal. This is normal. And then there was, about the only oddball thing I had in there is I got low platelet counts and a higher than average, B12. That's about it. I mean,
the bottom line there is the bottom line there is a lot of those things are transitory. So, John, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your candor, and I wish you the best of luck this week and everything you do.
All right, I thank you, man. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye,
everybody.
Well, that's great. So I'm gonna catch up a few of the comments here. Laura, yep. Thankful in heart. There you go. I never trust my. Yep, that's right. If you don't have a good handshake and you're cruel to animals, you're not doing business with me. Minimalist, I didn't see you. Oh, hey, Minimalist, how are you doing, bud? Been a long minute. Been a long, hot minute. How are you? I trust everything's going well with you, friend. I hope so. Lord, love to all be blessed. Appreciate company encouragement. You betcha, Lord. Thank you much. Ellen, good to see you. Back at you, everybody. There we go. Marlene, yep. You got to really want to work for me and change more of my outlook to see how God's way really works. That's right. All right. Oh boy, yeah, and minimalist in it. Okay, let's see. The animal thing is so huge to you. Also, that's right. I tell you, I have been very fortunate to have a lot of experiences in life and around the world and through the military and everything else. And I think if there was a universal quality, it would be that. The only one, the one I will have to say that shocked me, I had interactions with some people from Kuwait, and it was long before Desert Storm 1, and they had a rather harsh view of animals. I won't repeat it, but it was very, very shocking, and it wasn't pleasant. But I worked very hard to not say, because of this one serious cultural difference, I didn't let that overly pollute my image of them. But it was quite the eye-opening experience to see their lack of these individuals, their lack of giving a darn about these animals. But that was a long time ago, and I have long since gone past and beyond that. Well, Chad, what have you been up to? I know you've been out. I don't think must have been a reason. I was out too, but I'm just glad to see you out there. It's good to see familiar names out there. It's been a while since I've done a late night at Scotty's. I've done a few live. I've done a few here's and there's, but as I was saying earlier, I wanted to go and do this. I figured out that after I walked away for a little bit from doing the YouTubes, I wanted to do more. I wanted to do more of this. Just had to make sure I get my left and right delimiters right, and my why, get my why right. There's a why for doing carnivore, but there's a why for doing this YouTube channel. And like I said, I even went so far today to go ahead and put up a tip jar on my page, and I'll be doing more and trying to be more um, intentional, professional, if you will, about what I'm doing. But yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to see people. Good to have conversations. It's great to be in the middle of it. Doing good and not good. Dad went to hospital. Oh, all right. That's the important part. It's really hard. I've had to deal with that a lot here lately, my friend. And the common the common theme we say, particularly for believers, is I know what's going to happen the minute I cease to have a heartbeat. To be absent of the body is to be present of the Lord. I know this. I firmly believe this. I know my believer friends who have gone on have believed this. Just not real excited about that transition time. And I don't have any sagely words. I've just watched two people go here recently, very close friends of mine. Not family members, but close nonetheless. My father's 89, and I'm cognizant that things are going to happen, but just not excited to be seeing and going through that process, regardless of how natural it is, regardless of how inevitable it is. As much as I don't want, for the same reason I don't want to see cruelty to animals, I don't want to see people suffering. But that is the state of play. We are but a breath, it's a short period of time. Um, it's just very difficult with a very finite mind to understand an infinite concept. It's tough. It's tough to go through that. So, oh, let me catch up here. Yep. Yeah. You understand. Yep. Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, we got a good. I love it. I love it. I love it that we have a prayerful group of people. Prayers are extraordinary, powerful. People don't understand how powerful they are. And yeah, that's right. You got to have, without a relationship. It's, well, my why is several whys. I get it, Don. I do get it. Uh, yep. You see, that's it. The whole thing, and you just can't brush it under the rug. You can't treat it cavalier. It's just the way it is. Hmm. Yeah. So I think too, this absence in our heart, absence of heart. We start to think too of ourselves for legacy stuff, and it just pulls us in so many directions that take our view off the cross. That's my opinion. Yeah, you don't. That's right. And if you really think about it, infinity is a long time. Our lives is just so small and short. But it's hard to realize an infinite topic with a finite mind and an even more finite heart. That's what's hard for me. That's what's hard. Yeah. But people do it all the time. Yeah, okay, I get it. Massive stress, 15 pounds. But your body probably going to be more resilient to that 15 pounds, as you know, than it would have any other time. So you got, yeah, stabilize a bit, down 8. The other night, the missus and I, we had an adult conversation that had volume to it. You know what I'm saying? We had a little bit of a tete-a-tete, so to speak, a little repartee, and it all ended up. We hugged it out, and we don't go to bed mad at each other. But I did my blood sugar. and my average blood sugar for that time normally is 95, but at that point in time it was 126. So yeah, that stress of that conversation, the discussion, really hit my blood sugar. So that's the stress for you right there. Uh, yeah, I was never PK. I wish I had been. I lost I lost a lot. But God had me on a route. He had me on a road that He had me for, and that's all I have to leave right there. Yeah, but we do lift you up there, my friend. It's you don't get over it. You get through it, and you learn how to dress that scar, that wound. You learn how to dress the wound, and then you learn how to address it later on. And that's a healing process for sure. Sigma carnivorous. How are you, Sigma? Are you 1, 2, 3, or are you 6 Sigma? Come on, how many orders of magnitude are you? Just back to carnivore after months of binge eating. Yeah, sugary junk. I come back to my highest weight. Yeah, all right. Good. Congratulations there, Sigma. I did Halloween through January 1st. No bueno. Gained back my 25 pounds or more. Welcome. First of all, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you for dropping in. This is a free form discussion, not a lot of a form to sit and say we'll talk about something specific. Like I like to say, we'll talk about the things that are near and dear to your heart and to the hearts of those people who are here. So thank you. Welcome. Yeah. Dawn, I also was blessed to see an angel come to my friend and she died in my arm. God cares so much. Absolutely. Absolutely. Joy, and it's amazing that joy can, like the phoenix out of the ashes, right? Yeah. Have to go start a barbecue. You got to do what you got to do, my brother. My brother, you got to do it. You got to do it. Cool handle, Sigma. The important thing is that you're back on the track. That's right. Fall down 5 times, get up 6. That's absolutely right. It's not the amount of times you fall. It's not the distance you fall. It's that journey. I mean, how often do we hear that? That that it's not the destination, it is the journey, and it's the people along the journey. I was listening and reading to something not too long ago that really said the an honorable profession is education and teaching. And I'm at that point in time in my life as being retired from the workforce. Um, I have time, and in this time, what am I going to do with it? And I think sharing, educating, engaging, and inviting people to explore aspects of life they have either not been able to explore before, or things that they're unaware of and or want to go into. That's where it's at for me. I'm going to do that and do these late nights with Scotty and try to grow a channel and make a platform, I should say, that's more available to more people so they can um, take some time and just try to figure out what's going on here. You won't come in here and find the chat going so fast that we can't follow it, and that's a good thing. You won't find it too many. I don't think I've had too many negative Nellies jump in here and be act ignorant. So this is a nice, I would like to say, safe spot for people to come in and engage in conversation about health and about life. Practically had a prayer meeting breakout right there in the comments. So that is great, and I appreciate that. That's what makes it all worthwhile. Yeah, we can fall get right back, keep on going. That's right. Arlene, good night. All okay. You take care. Thank you, Arlene. Thank you so much for lifting my spirits. Each and every time you make a comment, you lift my spirits, and I want you to know that you are definitely making a positive impact in my life. Thank you. Okay. On going off Carnivore, I still say I don't stress it. That's right. It's really honestly, you going off Carnivore means you've gone back to being an omnivore, right? It's less going off than it is, just letting the tent get too big, knowing that the consequences, and now you bring it back because you say, "Hey, I don't want that. I don't want the inflammation. I don't want the brain fog, whatever it is." So I think this is just a form of and a way of coming to a healing place. Yeah, that's right. Now there are those babies, though. There are those babies that will look back to you and go, "Should I cry? Is mommy or daddy gonna come pick me up if I cry?" And you got to go, "No." And they go, they get back up and they wander along. That's awesome. You're right. Uh, oh, mixed health content. Yep, that's right. Well, I let the content, you all drive all that, Ellen. I don't drive it. I'm sitting here trying to maintain it and encourage it and not talk over too much. But I appreciate that. That's the goal here. That's the goal here. We're gonna look health and carnivore. Fellowship is the whole thing. Matter of fact, we're getting ready to maybe start Man Church. It's a thing big down here in the South from the Rick and Bubba show. And I do a fellowship at church, and I have a fellowship meeting once a month that I kind of honcho, and I've been doing it for almost 2 years now. And they want to go off into this discipleship thing for men, and I totally get it, totally support it. But I told the people who are really getting energized to do it, I will help you, I will be there for you, but I am not going to be in charge of it. I'm in charge of fellowship. I want to do fellowship. I believe personal relationships are so important. And I don't say that Bible study is not important. I'm not saying that, but my calling is fellowship, and we go to fellowship, and that'd be how that goes. All righty. All right. All right. Everybody going to bed. I think that's how it's kind of working here, I guess. I do think many of us suffer when they go off like old fat get. Yeah. Hey, ain't that the truth, brother? I noticed that my daily left eyelid twitch has been gone. Oh, well, that's awesome. We were just talking here a little while ago. Dr. Dom D'Agostino was talking to, I want to say Laura. I'm not sure. I'll have to post a link. But they were talking about how ketones are very therapeutic and healing neural issues, all things nerves. Something about ketone bodies and neural function is extraordinarily beneficial. And so, if you're going to do this for a while, I tell you, Sigma, there does seem to be a growing body of evidence to say that this is good for you. It really is. Oh, you made our nights, Arlene. Thank you so much. Had some wheat and something a couple weeks ago. Yep. That wheat, I'm telling you, and now I'm hearing a week ago, 2 weeks ago, they're talking about on a lot of news cycles about some chemicals sprayed on oats here in the States. Oats? Yeah, that's no good. Glad I'm not eating those. Stinking oats. My food eats oats. Maybe not really, but they will. Where two or more are gathered, there I am. Amen. That's right. We'll hold church right here at any point in time, as it is so prescribed. I'm never going to deny the Holy Spirit. Not going to do it. I'm working really, really, really working hard on that. Yeah, glyphosate soup along with wheat. I know there's just so much that's going on. One of the things I want to look into is trying to find some regenerative farmers around here that I might be able to get some, not just regenerative meat, but buy the fat from them, so I could do some tallow and things like that. I'd like to do that. Yeah, one thing I started out this year, that's right, more volunteer, security team serving. There you go. This year, I've been really called into serving homebound people. I've been serving homebound people from surgery. My wife too. She sat with someone from the church the other night. Poor lady has a great big mass in her heart, and she has bladder cancer. And if she 5'3", she's barely there, and probably weighing around 300 pounds, 330 pounds. So she's got a significant weight problem, a lot of medical problems, but she's working on it one thing at a time. But my wife went and sat with her in the hospital just so she wouldn't be lonely all night long sitting in an ICU. But the wife and I, now that we're in retirement, we are finding ourselves being called on a lot to do various things, and so there we are. And yeah, it's a good thing there, Chad. It's a real good thing to serve others is really our highest calling. I think that's the whole thing right there. Don, I glyphosate's a bad chemical, and I think that it's responsible as maybe microplastics, but I think we went on a macro level. This is just my opinion, but we looked at a macro level and worked down. We would find that sugar, seed oils, high fructose corn syrup. I think those are really, really, really big rocks, and that we could do sculpting and shaping and tuning as we work down. I also believe that we are often fond of saying in church that God isn't surprised, right? He's not. God knew that wheat would come along and that people would eat wheat, and God knew that the omega-6 ratios in our food would get out of whack, and God knew microplastics were going to happen, and God knows that glyphosate was going to happen. He's got an answer. But I heard another analogy today where sometimes people want to do things, then to become things like a successful YouTube channel or whatever it is they want to become. And they want leaves on their tree, so to speak, before they've put down roots. So there's a time component there that's a very, very important. You hit the like button. Thank you, Arlene. Yeah, that little thing going across the bottom. Smash the like button, please. Hey, it's all good. It's all good. That's right. Giving from the heart is what it's all about. Well, I know somebody else said it the other day. You look out into that field of, and I have never noticed this. Have you? Talk to me. You look out that field of wheat or that field of soybeans or whatever the crop, corn, and you won't find anything living in it. No birds, no voles, no ground squirrels. The deer go to it from the forest. They kill everything to grow that corn, to grow that soybean, or like here, to grow cotton or wheat or whatever your crop is. Yeah, some pretty significant stuff. Seed oils, grain, sugar. Yep, that's right, Chad. There's no doubt. I mean, just look in the old pictures of Billy the Kid. They didn't have a lot of fat people there, did they? No, they did not. Or go back to medieval times, or even early the 18th century, right? 17th century, 13th century. What do you want to go to? It was highly desirable to seek people who were portly, rotund, Rubenesque, because obviously they had a lot of extra food, right? But there weren't that many people there. You were nobles or you were wealthy, generally speaking, right? Everybody else, they was pretty much lean. Yeah. Sugar, seed oils, that's it. Poison the world. But God is never surprised. Amen. Yeah, he sure is. And again, I'm not planning on winning the race and staying here. You know, I'm always amazed by people. I said, "So what are you doing? You planning to stay?" I'm not. Uh, we're totally together. There you go. Best excuse ever. I love it, Arlene. I love it. I love it. That is funny. That's good stuff. Yeah, that's right. Chad, that whole normal comment, that's so true about so many aspects of our lives today. It's just the dominant, you know. It's I was I was talking to my brother, and my brother is a really smart guy. My sister's even smarter. They are some fantastically intelligent people, and I'm not being self-deprecating, but I mean really sharp people. So I'm talking to my brother, and a lot of our conversation these days centers around my dad and his antics and his peculiar behaviors and traits and changes. And my dad was or is an engineer and really smart guy, and he is a amateur, ham radio operator extraordinaire. He's a MacGyver. He can make in his heyday. He could literally make a radio from some string and wire and a paper clip. He could do it. Anyhow, I've seen him make antennas that way. But anyhow, he he is just flummoxed. He's just befuddled by cell phones, right? And my brother was given a little bit of ribbing, not to my dad, but just to me and him in the background. And he was talking about the communications and some difficulties. And I said to him, yeah, yeah, chicken little, you're not a chicken hawk. No, I said to my brother, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Let's remember about this technology that is allowing us both to be driving down the road in different directions through hills and mountains and buildings, and we're talking to each other, and we could change money in our banks. So the technology is still pretty spiffy, and so technology isn't always our enemy, and we aren't always the fault. It's just when you blend the two, it's like water and oil, and I'm thinking about that and how uh, we have pretty good stuff going on here, but when we think about our diet, all of a sudden we're all in a stone age, or we're all in some bucket. It's amazing how disparate our lives have become, and I think sometimes some of the ludicrous and ridiculous things we see in life are brought about by these rapid changes in certain areas, technology and everything, and society hasn't caught up to it. And then you see this rapid wealth generation by pharmaceuticals and big food, right? And society hasn't caught up, and we haven't caught up with our social norms, and it's a challenge. And so that whole perspective, what you talked about there, Chad, is way off. It's just so absolutely turned on its ear. Arlene, I was talking to a gentleman the other day at Red Lobster. Yep, Red Lobster. And he said, this is just what I needed to hear about Carnivore. Yep, there you go. Oh, hello there, Free the Sheep. You're trolling with your other account. Well, you're always allowed to troll in here. Smash the like. Let us know. Appreciate you in here. From Free the Sheep. That's not anything to do with Clarice, I hope. Help support Scotty by liking the stream. Appreciate you. But yeah, it's been a wonderful evening here. We've been kicking this for a little over 3 hours, and that makes it about almost midnight. I'm going to turn into a pumpkin, so I'm going to give you everybody that's in here. I really appreciate the support there. I got you, big man. I got you. Let everybody know I really appreciate everybody who has been in here from the first minute. When I just threw this up, I was right after Homestead Howe and Carrie and the girls had been doing their thing, and it was just absolutely amazing to watch Carrie's young daughters thriving in what they're doing. Limitless Lindy was the first one to roll up in here, and then Christy came in here, and Northern Stitcher Jan came in, and Meeting Wellness, and we just having a good old time, and then it snowballed, and we ended up having John in here, Big Man Alaska, and we kept it going, and we had a little church here. And I'm glad to see Chad, that you're back out there, and you're going through all the catch up and making up and reacquainting. And I'm sure that with your steadfast focus, the impact of the stress you've had is going to be uh, it's going to be a talking point for you going forward. You're going to be able to relate to people and educate people, and help them to avoid it and navigate it, because we're all going to have it. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again, So, yeah, I'm glad you came in here, Chad, and helped us out here a whole bunch. And Arlene's saying here, I cook with a cast iron, and every night before I have to clean my glasses. Yeah, better than getting in your eye. Better than getting in your eye. It's like a BB gun, right? I cook outside, no mess in the house. I know the wife said that. She said last time we went carnivore, there's grease everywhere. And you know that grease you get sometimes from a good, meaty, fatty piece of beef. It's got all that extra C18 in there, that stearic acid. And that stearic acid, that's a part of the beef fat, and it gets really, really solid at room temperature. Okay, you take care of yourself, my friend. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. God bless. All right, you need to focus on the finance and work on it, get ready for annual meeting. Okay, got to do what you got to do. Don't let me be the reason you don't get things done for the Do Re Mi. Good to see you, Miss Allen. I do appreciate you, and I hope that you have a good meeting coming up. Yes, good night to you all. God bless each and every one of you. Hey, Lindy, good to see you. Got a wife. I know you've been out there working yourself to a bone, getting ready to go to Austin, Texas in a not too long future. It'll be so exciting. I hope you do get to bring your daughters. Everybody gets to go. I get you. Autocorrect. Hey, look, I have half a thumb. This one right here. So when I text, autocorrect isn't my friend. All right, y'all take care now. God bless, and we'll see you around. We'll do another late night at Scotty's. Don't know if it'll be this late, but we'll do it again. And hey, by the way, anybody wants to jump in, if you got a camera, you can jump in. I think you can do it just a mic. We could do it just a mic if you just want to do the audio part. Okay, y'all. Take care. God bless, and we'll see you around. Bye-bye.